things off, just wanted to take a moment and talk about Skunk Fest. This year, we actually have 2 different cities and 3 weekends. So, if you go to skunkfestatx.com, you'll be able to check out the lineups, the dates, and locations. First on the list is San Antonio, Texas, August 21st at Fitzgerald's. Then, right after that, August 26th and 27th at Come and Take It Live here in Austin, Texas. And then a second weekend here in Austin at Empire Control Room on September 5th. Like I mentioned, if you'd like some more information on the lineup, locations, go to skunkfestatx.com. Hey folks, welcome back to another episode of the Eclectic Soundtrax podcast with Skunk and Vic. Today on the podcast we talk with Travis and Philip from the band Wellborn Road. Established in 2005, they're now calling Houston their home. They've really carved a name for themselves as one of the heavyweights in Texas hard rock and metal. Their debut album Home proved to be raw, uncompromising, and their second album Pain, Hate, Redemption really established their identity both musically and through their live performances. They're nothing short of in-your-face raw energy on stage. They've been playing the Texas circuit pretty regular, and they share the stage with acts such as Drowning Pool, Buckcherry, Pop Evil, Taproot, Dangerous Toys, Powerman 5000, and countless other acts. You can check these guys out on August 27th at Come and Take It Live during Skunk Fest. Make sure and grab your tickets, and for any more information on the lineup, be sure to go to skunkfestatx.com.
Countdown. Oh shit, are we rolling? Did it already go?
No, we're not.
Okay.
No. Yeah, we are. Go ahead.
Oops. We're notorious for starting out horrible because I was first I was singing the final countdown, and then when we actually started I was saying oops because I was trying to do my Pro Tools thing, which will probably just shut down the whole thing. So now, since I'm not in my normal environment, I will be dropping out at some point during the podcast, or at the very least my camera will go off and I'll freak out, or my HDMI will go out. What a horrible beginning to a podcast. Hey, Wellborn Road, what's up?
What's happening, man?
Hey guys, how's it going?
So we got Tyler Tracy and Philip Pound. What a perfect name for a drummer,
right?
Dude.
That was the reason why we hired him.
You had 2 options in life. It's like the old Seinfeld joke about a guy named Jeeves. Like, you're going to be a butler. There's no way around it. With you, you were either going to be a drummer or a porn star. There was no other options for you.
Or
and
both.
you got
There's
it.
still time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Peter still kind of, he didn't do the porn star, but he got the old. I mean, so we were talking before we started this. Philip and I were talking about both being huge Type O Negative fans and Peter Steele fans. And Peter Steele, I'm sure you know this, Philip. I'm sure you studied it endlessly. He was not only, this great prolific songwriter and poet and, great musician. He's like the sex symbol, I guess primarily like goth chicks and gay dudes. But maybe some straight dudes. What do I know? But he also like posed in Playgirl. Did you know that?
Yep.
Okay, I'm glad you didn't pretend not to. You're just I'll admit it. We've all seen his big Peter of Steel. No, I never seen it actually.
I haven't gone and looked at the photos. But
I mean, the guy is gigantic. He's got to have a huge dick, right? Yeah. So, I mean, speaking of gigantic, huge dicks, Philip. I mean, you were how 6'7"? You're a big dude, man.
6'7". Yeah, I'm taller than Peter is.
How tall was Peter?
I think he was 6'6".
Really? Okay. Wow. Goddamn. So you're gonna pose for Playgirl? Is that Wellborn Road's new ticket into fame?
Spread his butt cheeks is my conscience.
I mean, if I got to take one for the team, then I can play the drums with 3 arms.
Oh man, no, that's where y'all get those blast beats. God damn, that's really cool. I was always wondering how you played hi-hat, ride, and snare at the same time. That's pretty impressive.
New meaning to blast beats, huh?
Yeah. So, Tyler, now that Philip is in the band, how does it feel to be a guy with a subpar dick?
Man, it's not the first time. I think it's just a drummer
All right,
thing.
So going back, way back, and I actually heard you guys on the Bobby Sharon podcast talking about, I think, I came up and you were talking about, Skunk and a bunch of bands and all this, and one of the first bands I was in when I moved to Austin was a Porter Shackle, and we played with Wellborn Road, and God, dude, probably 2000, dare I say, was it 7 or 8 or some crazy shit, right?
Probably.
In College Station?
Yeah. No, I think it was in Houston first.
Oh, maybe, was it like 19th hole or something?
I think it was 19th hole. Yeah, I think we jammed with y'all, and then I think me and you shot the shit afterwards, and you were like, hey, I got another band called The Good Rogering. And then I think we brought y'all to College Station. We did a little show swap. Y'all got us out to Austin.
Yeah. Golly, man, that's been a...
Yeah, we've been doing this a really long time, man.
Gee, I know, right? Jesus. So let's see. I'm kind of thinking, because a Good Rogering was kind of getting going. I think we started kind of writing and forming in 2008, and maybe played our first show super late that year, and then started playing in 2009. So I bet that it was like about around that time. For sure, if we did a Good Rogering show. I bet it was one of our early... Dude, did we play with you guys at Stafford? Was that where we played, maybe?
Yeah,
wow,
yeah.
Okay.
We had y'all were...
Holy fuck.
Doing the
we were such a different band
thing
back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a totally different band. We were playing, like, random ass covers of, like, the Meters and crazy shit. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
It was fun,
2009. Though. Yeah,
hey,
badass.
we were a completely different band back then, too.
Well, who's original in... So, first of all, when did Wellborn Road start, and who are the original members that are still in the band?
Me and Scott are the two guys who started it, and we are the two leftovers that are still clinging to it. But, no, we actually... I've known Scott forever. Scott's our singer, for y'all that don't know us. He's a drunken little man that runs around and screams. But he was...
Perfect description.
It's like our leprechaun. So anyways.
So you're related to the Giddy Ups guy.
That's right.
You guys need a photo shoot of just like a stair step of like...
Well, it's like I used to be the tallest guy in the band, and then Philip joined, and I looked tiny next to him, and those guys looked tiny next to me. So, but no. Anyways, yeah, I met Scott back in, when I was in like middle school. He was friends with my older brother, and he played guitar, and he started coming over, and this is like I was probably 12, and just got this little shitty PV, and actually have it over there in the corner still. PV guitar, and he could play like a bunch of Pantera and Metallica, and that's all I cared about when I was 12. And anyways, long story short, became good friends. And when he was in the Navy, I just moved to College Station, and he was driving in from like Florida every weekend to come jam and sing and do all kinds of drunken shenanigans, and started a band from there, man.
That is crazy, dude. Yeah. So was he in Florida, like on that little tip over there, Pensacola or whatever the fuck,
That's
where
right,
it's close
yeah.
to Alabama?
Pensacola, yeah.
And so what is that? That's
It's like an 11-hour drive.
Damn.
Yeah, he had a shitty Dodge Ram truck, man. That was like a single cab with the camper on the back. And he'd be AWOL from the military every weekend. As soon as he'd get off, he'd hightail it to College Station, and we'd buy like 3 or 4 cases of beer, and that'd get us through that night, and then we'd go to the next one. But I had this crappy little 8-track Boss recorder, and
Oh yeah, I remember those.
yeah, we'd plug into that. It had a little drum machine on it, and we wrote like the first.
Those were the shit back in the day, man.
Dude, that thing was awesome. Whenever I was like, oh my god, it's got guitar effects and I can do drums. Like, okay,
Yeah.
So yeah, we recorded like the first like 4 songs on our first record on that thing, writing them wise. But yeah, that thing was fun, man.
But shit, man, for a band kind of coming out, That's actually pretty good. You know, so many bands like myself included, we did demos on a 4-track old, Fostex tape recorder with the first AGR,
right?
Demos, and that shit was still on, and that was like 2008.
Yeah.
Unacceptable for tape at that point. And then we went into a studio and did a couple of songs that were pretty terrible demos, and then we went and did another demo. The funny thing about it, our EP, the first EP we ever did, was that actually came out in 2010 because I produced the shit out of it for a year. But we went in and tracked everything live in one day. And then it was going to be a demo, and then I got obsessed with it and just made it a EP.
This huge production.
But it's kind of cool because it's raw as fuck, and there's
That's
no
awesome.
punches, and and you can tell it's it's loose. We're not playing to a click, but then I kind of just went and did a bunch of overdubs, and the vocals aren't live, but I was a worse singer back then than I am now, even, so that was not even going to be an option.
Our first record when we went in was we thought we knew what we were doing. And we were like, yeah, man,
everybody does.
We'll go in there and party and just have a good time, and we did. But there's some songs on there where you could tell we're like, hey, this is the day we partied a little harder than the other day.
Right.
And
everyone's like, this is awesome, high fives.
Right.
And then a few weeks later, you're listening with fresh ears, sober, and you're like, wow, we really sound like shit.
Yeah. There's I think there's a song on there where Scott's off, just completely off. And we didn't know it because we only listened to it that one time, and then we sent it off to mastering and got it back. We were like, ugh. But whatever.
And that wasn't an album or an EP?
Our first two were 10-song records.
Damn. Okay, so that was your first album, which was what year?
2008.
Should have had the old Spotify pulled up. 2008, and then and what was your next album after that?
Pain, Hate, Redemption, and that came out in 2014 because that was another 10 songs, and it's a lot of money. That's why we only do 5 songs now.
I get it, man. Doing an album is so hard. It takes a long time. It's expensive.
It doesn't make sense to do it anymore either.
Yeah, it's. It's cool if you can, but Jesus Christ, man, it's
right.
It's definitely a huge difference between. 5 songs is pretty impressive, man. Congrats on the new EP.
Thanks,
because a lot of guys, you do 3 songs. Well, you guys are opening. One of the bands playing with Snakeskin Prison May 14th.
That's right.
And I don't know if I should say playing with or played because God knows when this will come out, but and then I think they're doing a 3-song EP, and I think that's what they've been doing consistently for the past few years, is just putting out 3-song EPs.
Yeah, honestly, unless you got the money to put out big stuff, you just kind of, in my opinion, want stuff coming out regularly, right? So in today's world, everybody's just what's next, next,
Look at Gojira now. I'm sure they've recorded their last 3 songs they've released all at the same time, but they're stringing it out 1 month at a time just to keep people going, and that's the way to do it now.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, it's a different world. I think a lot of us, there's still that little bit of, a nostalgia album kind of thing, right? And those guys, and then there's the vinyl crowd, and that's awesome. But you're right. There's no attention span with anybody anymore, and you gotta especially in the Spotify world, I don't think a lot of people sit there and listen to it as an album. And I've started making playlists, and people make playlists, which is actually really cool. When your latest EP came out, I was I think it was what song did I put on there? Maybe it was Bury Your Burden. Is that the one that you have the video for?
Nah, Incomplete. Bury Your Burden was the opener.
Okay, and they don't show up in order on here. That's why. Okay, yeah. So the one that you have the video for, Incomplete,
right?
And man, just from doing that, I would just listen to it over and over. You know what I mean? And it's it's weird. It's I think sometimes when you have a mix of songs and then you just get hooked on one song and it makes you want to go back and listen to the other. It's just same thing as putting out a single.
For sure,
right? Yeah, I love albums or whatever, man. I'm not into vinyl or nothing, but I would love if we could do 10 songs, and release them, and you got this awesome album artwork and a booklet and all that stuff. It's cool. I still like that stuff. It's just the feasibility of it now. I'd rather be putting out songs more regularly since that's kind of what we can afford to do.
Well, man, and like Resiliency's 5, and that's pretty good, dude. Like even 5 songs, I feel like is a pretty good batch of songs, and like you feel like you get a pretty good listening experience. You know what I mean? Like it's not just 1 or 2 songs. It's like, okay, cool. I got something I can dig on this for a while. You know?
Right. Yeah. If you're going to do
like
artwork
really
and
well
all
done.
that, you need it.
Exactly, and it's really well done, and it sounds professional. So take us back to when you did the first record, and then the next record, and then some. I think you have a few singles, EPs, the Resiliency being the latest one. And so, have you always used the same like studio or engineers, or mixed it up? Like, what's the story there?
So, the guy who has been our engineer / I guess kind of producer is named Craig Douglas, and he had a studio in his like house. I met him in like 2004, and we did a little 5-song demo with him, and those 5 songs ended up on the first record. But he had a new studio, which is where he's at now, and so we did Home with him, and it was just us and him. And he was really good back then, but he's gotten even better and better and better, and he's he works with To Whom It May, and I think he just worked with Clint Lowry from Seven Dust.
Okay.
He used to run sound for, I think, Shadows Fall back in the day. So anyways, yeah, we did our first 2 records at his studio that he's is like connect. It's in the same area as his house, and then the third one, the EP From Silence to Strength, we did with him, but in a different studio here in Houston called Southwing Audio. And then our last one, we did the drums at Southwing Audio, the guitars at my house, which we just tracked DI, and then the bass as well. And then we did all the vocals at Craig's normal studio. And then we sent it off to Boston for a guy named Zeus to master it. Zeus does all the Hatebreed stuff and all the Rob Zombie stuff, and pretty much everything you've heard from Rob Zombie in the last like 10, 15 years, Zeus produces and does all that mess.
Have you? Was he your mastering guy before, or was this a new mastering engineer?
No, we've actually we used to use this guy Alan Deutsches at West Side Music, and then we a good friend of mine who is an incredible guitar player and just all around music genius, does a lot of work with Zeus, and he was in bands back in the day that they actually recorded some albums with Zeus, and so he offered it up, and he's like, "Hey man, he'll do it for the same price," and so we sent it off to him, and yeah, that guy was awesome. Nice. Awesome. He was really cool. And I mean, his catalog of shit that he's worked on is like, holy fuck,
Yeah. I got to type that in, but now my screen's going haywire. I'm back.
There you go.
I don't think I actually dropped. Now, we had such a disastrous... the thing was, like, Vic, I always ask this, and it's just stupid, because we don't know, but I think this is episode probably 52, right?
Who knows? I never keep track of the episode numbers.
I don't either. Well, clearly, but I kind of want to, but when it's too late. But I feel like it was our 50th episode, which would have been should have been hey, it's our big 50th episode. We were literally started I don't know what episode it is, accepting that I forgot that it was actually the 50th. And then it was the worst episode ever because it was things dropping out and fucking up, and so far so good on this one. Where were we? Zeus. Oh yeah, type in Zeus, Vic. I'm curious.
Yeah, he's done, like I said, all the Hatebreed stuff. Rob Zombie. What's the other stuff he did, Phil? And they're Iced Earth and Queensryche.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Crowbar Records.
I don't remember all that, but...
Yeah, he's got a website, and you just click on his discography, and it goes on forever.
Actually, you said Crowbar. We were talking about Crowbar before we started, I think, actually, and the roster of and the roster of that band. I was like, who was in that band? And the drummers, Jimmy, because I thought Jimmy Bauer was, and I met him once before, and I know he plays with Down. But then Phil was saying Craig or Philip. Is Phil acceptable or Philip? Craig.
Yeah.
Craig,
Either one's fine, man.
Craig. Now I forgot his name. Craig what?
Neunenmacher?
Neunenmacher?
That's why Daddy J and Joe Dirt said Neunenmacher.
Yeah, he played with Black Label at one point. So,
Right.
wow, they got.
He did a couple records of BLS, right?
I think he did, man. I mean, I know they've been through a lot of, like any band, right? Like Wellborn Road's had a couple guys now. I mean, AGR's had like 5,000 members. So I mean, it happens like when you're around for a while, So
right.
I know BLS. I remember for a long time they had. I saw them in '99 I just happened to be out there visiting because me and my brother were thinking about going out there, and he had a friend out in like Santa Monica, and we were hanging out, and they played '99 at the Whiskey on Halloween night, right when Sonic Brew came out. It was fucking badass, and they played pretty much the whole record. They played that song "Losing Your Mind" from the Pluck Pride and Glory record. He played "No More Tears," but it was just such a cool, like, intimate, dirty rock show. And I was like, Zach, that was pre-Beard Zach. That's how long ago that was. Crazy long ago.
I don't know.
And I've actually got a signed set list from that show.
Can you see that behind me?
Shit.
The poster?
Yeah, so that is from '99 as well. Randomly, met him in a record store. That's him too. But they were playing the 19th hole.
What?
And it was like,
dude. I mean, you're right. It's like, it's so cool. Like, he came off of fucking these huge tours with Ozzy, starts a Black Label, and then just goes and plays all the bars that we play.
Right, I was so excited to get to play the
Ozzy
19th
Osbourne's
hole
guitar player. Yeah, it's amazing. That is incredible. Incredible.
Yeah, we went. He was doing like some signing, and I had no idea what BLS was or anything. And a friend of mine was like, "Hey,
it was brand new, yeah.
Zach Wild's going to be at the record store doing a signing," and I'm like, "The Ozzy guy?" And he's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Fuck it, I'll go meet him. Cool, man." Walked in there, shook his hand. He was super cool. Bought the Sonic Brew record, and then I was hooked after that. And then I met him again.
Yeah.
Right when Stronger Than Death came out, and then I met him again at that same record store like a year after that. Always super
man.
cool.
I was
super cool guy.
Yeah, he was really nice when I met him as well. Those first two records are pretty what's the word I want to? They're pretty rough. They're pretty raw, but they're cool. Sonic Brew to me is kind of like what I was talking about, that the first AGR EP. Like, there's, you could be like, I wish it was sounded better, but I almost like it the way it is.
Right.
It's just, there's a quality about it that's kind of just like fucking rock. I think that's what he was doing too. Just like, I think I read something about it once. He was like, everything on 10 and just fucking rock. Like, it was just. But the songs on that album are still some of his best songs. Like, there's just incredibly fucking badass songs on that album. I don't know Stronger Than Death. I got it and I listened to it a bunch when it came out. And there's a few songs I don't know as much as Sonic Brew. I think and then I've kind of lost track in the last few years. I think once a band does 8 records, you just like lose track after that. But like. There was, I mean, Blessed Hell Ride's an absolutely badass record. I actually like 1919 a lot. Mafia's great.
Their newest one is really good.
I've heard, and there was what was the one that
good.
came out? It seems like it was not that long ago, but what was the one that came out maybe around 2013, 14? That's a really good record too.
Order of the Black, I think. It's got like Parade of the Dead on it and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a banger.
Shit, now he's got a box set. Coming out, doesn't he? With the whole catalog.
Right. Yeah, it's all like vinyls and stuff.
Yeah, dude.
I love BLS, man. Zach Wild's my guy.
Yeah, dude. He's a born rock star. He's like iconic. I mean, and it's funny because it's kind of a parody of himself. He's cliche, but he is Zach Wild, to me, in terms of just being a badass guitar-playing rock star, is like AC/DC is as a rock and roll band. That's like the definition, right? Like, that's the face of, like, that's how you do it. That's the guy, right? And, yeah, dude, I've always been a gigantic fan of him, too. I remember, like, there's a few times when you're like, okay, come on, Zach. Like he was doing a show one time and they rolled out the piano and he's like noodling around he's a great pianist too, noodling around forever. and then he's just like starts doing. No, he likes to do his shout outs and the whole. What's the song? The Dime song, for fuck's sake. River.
In this river.
In this river, right? And so they always do that big thing and the shout out to Dime. But there was this one show, and he's like playing, and it was just ridiculous. He was doing all these kiss in the sky shout outs. He's like, "This is Texas chapter, blah blah blah, Tom Landry," and I'm like, "Bro, like now you're reciting like football coaches. Like, let's get to the song, you know?" He literally said like, "Oh, shut the fuck up. This goes out to Dime or whatever." That's my Zach Wilde and pretty my Bambinos, you know.
LA spot on, man.
Gotta love Zach, man. It's just such a badass. All right, well, we'll get off his nuts. Let's see. Hey, Vic, I'm curious. When we're all talking about, this is Vic. Vic, shut up, just shut up, skunk. You fuck. I hate you at this point. Me and Vic used to be friends, and then we started a podcast.
Whoops.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's like a band. I was like, oh no, like when we get in one more band, some more people will hate me.
But Skunk's like, all this stuff sucks. And it's like,
now poor Vic's like, what should we use? I'm like, I hate all these platforms. They're all shit.
Yeah. Skunk demands perfection no matter what.
It's a problem. It's a sickness. This is why I only have like 2 albums out, because these guys know what it's like. But that's what I was going to say. It's like you can get so hung up on this stuff and it'll drive you mad. But Vic, I was wondering, as someone who's not like making records in the studio and going crazy like the rest of us, you're a guy that still likes albums, though. You listen to albums. Do you listen to albums more than you listen to like a random playlist, probably, or do you do that?
It depends. I mean, there's some days where I just like to, grab a bottle of whiskey and drink about half the bottle, listening to like an album. Like the one I really got into was Sturgill Simpson's Sound and Fury, right? Because that's a pretty badass, like the vinyl album too. So.
What's the vibe of that? Because we were talking about that on another podcast, and I'm yet to go listen to that.
Yeah, it's so do you remember that the movie Heavy Metal? Remember it had Sammy Hagar, and it's got that really cool vibe. But he, it's like this whole story. The whole thing is a story, and it's got that heavy metal vibe to it. But it's really cool. Yeah,
but it's rock. It's not metal, right? Or
it's not metal. I mean, he's
heavy.
Primarily. He's mostly known for a country artist.
That's what I thought, right? But this is more edgy.
Yeah, but I mean, this one's totally different. Like all his country fans were kind of freaking out, like, "Hey, this isn't Sturgill Simpson." It's like, well, I mean, the dude's pretty eclectic.
That's great. He's doing the opposite of what so many people are doing, like Bret Michaels and that guy from Stained who cries in every song. Like they're all just going and playing country, but like
he's got that.
Yeah.
My arm hurts when he sings.
There's certain bands that if I had any hope of being successful,
I know what I'm talking about.
And I was like, who? Say that again.
The singer from Stain, he does his arm like this when he sings, like he got hit real hard or something. And
oh yeah, no, that guy. It's been a while since
my dad
pierced my eyebrow. Yeah, I don't know. There's certain bands on this podcast that I say we, it's really me, like religiously shit on for fun. But
I'm in agreement
I don't feel like a good Rodgering's ever going to be touring with Smash Mouth, though. So shit away, I say, right?
I don't know. Somebody once told me.
Philip looks like he might be a big
dream,
Smash
right?
Mouth fan. One can only dream.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if Wellborn Road got an opportunity to open for Smash Mouth, would you consider that success, or would you just say we have failed miserably and end your career that same day?
Depends on the money.
About 20 years, I would consider it success.
Yeah. I mean, it would almost be good, right? Like, how it's weird, right? Like, you couldn't do that, too. Like, I think about this if I'm trying to put together a show. Like, you guys are going to come play Skunk Fest. I'm super stoked to, like, finally get you guys doing that.
Right, us too, man.
August. But I like to try to build a bill where it's kind of like, I mean, it's going to be a little tricky sometimes, and but for the most part, try to build it where it kind of ramps up, right? And it's like you don't want your death metal band and then AC/DC. It's like kind of like have the rock, the metal, and I feel like Wellborn Road is it's a metal band, but you're kind of like you can kind of lean a little other way. You're not like extreme metal. You're not like but it's like if you put a band like that in front of more of a pop rock band, it just seems weird to me. It's not even so much about like, oh, who's better than this or what, right? I always just feel like you need to ramp it up that way.
Right.
So therefore, alone, I feel like you just wouldn't be a good fit with Smash Mouth. Sorry, guys. Sorry.
Hey, man. It doesn't matter. Put us on the stage. I don't care.
Tyler's like, show me the money.
Show me the money. Show me the money in the crowd, man, and I'm ready to go.
No, that's a good attitude. You should go play country. Get paid.
I've been offered whenever I moved to College Station and people found out I played guitar. Hey, man, I got this country band. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know the first thing about it. And I know a little bit more about it now, but I love country music. I really do. I like old man country.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, the old school country and outlaw country is the shit.
Right.
I mean, when you say country, anybody like, I think that's what, there's two types of people. And when you say like, I like country, I know that's what you're talking about. I'm pretty sure you're not like, boy, me and Scott, we just started out with, Florida Georgia Line records and one thing led to another, boy.
Our main influence on our first record was rap country.
Yeah, Black Label Society and Florida Georgia Line. Woo! Get her done.
It's similar, right? We're trying to create something new here, y'all.
Well, the current Nashville, soul-sucking demons that write this shit are certainly doing well, they're trying too, because they're like, look, if we combine hip-hop with the country genre that we've already ruined, and then now go dress like Poison did in 1988, and let's see what happens. I feel like that's what's happening right now.
It's more like Creed, right? It's like the Creed outfits.
Creed, I don't know much about
country.
More like Creed.
I don't know much about Creed, but I have a feeling the Creed guy sings like this too.
Or Jim Irsay from the Indianapolis Colts, right? He kind of has that same fashion vibe. So,
hey, y'all can knock on Creed, but Mark Tremonti is a bad motherfucker on guitar.
Dude, he's great. He's awesome.
Oh, he's a beast on guitar.
Is his band Alter Bridge?
Bridge. I saw them in Louisiana like 2 years ago.
They're awesome.
They were great. They were really good.
Yeah, he's a great guitar player.
Plus, Miles Kennedy is a hell of a guitar player and dynamite singer too.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Miles Kennedy's great. I mean, have you seen him?
Oh.
Have you seen him with Slash?
Yeah, he's the shit,
great,
man. But yeah, he plays.
Awesome.
He played guitar almost that entire concert.
I had no idea that he. Wow, what a badass!
Yeah,
that's cool.
he's really good, really good.
So, what you got, Vic?
I'm just waiting for another question. You said albums or playlists.
Vic just wants me to sync myself on every episode at this point, I think.
Oh, well, I won't mention Matt.
We just got into this whole Spotify mess. We've been on Spotify for a long time, but just got into looking at it probably in the last 6-7 months. So we're trying to figure out all this playlist stuff as we go.
Yeah, same, man. Well, speaking of which, though, you guys, you got some real success from the last when the EP dropped on. Was it Apple Music, right? You guys were in the charts on that.
iTunes. We hit number 13.
That's killer, man.
It was
sandwiched between Metallica and shit like that. Right?
Yeah, we. I think we were between two Metallica records, like their new orchestra one and like Kill 'Em All or something.
It's like the top 12 metal songs from Metallica, and then like number 13 is Wellborn Road.
Yeah,
like another 12 Metallica songs.
It was cool. We were ahead of Slipknot and all kinds of shit,
awesome.
man. Yeah, it was.
That's badass.
We got a text message about it while we were while I was drinking whiskey and drank a little more whiskey because of it. It was really cool. I wish I would have gotten like a screenshot of it or something.
But that's kind of cool though, right? That you're sort of like, you weren't just like not even like knowing, and someone's like, dude, you're on like, number 13 on the iTunes or Apple, whatever the hell it is,
Yeah. I didn't even know
charts.
That was a thing.
I didn't either until you guys. Now I know.
I thought they were joking. I was like, shut the fuck up. And he screenshot it and posted it. And I went and checked it out, and I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, it was cool, man. It was like a good, all the hard work. Because we busted our ass during this. Yeah,
congrats, man. Again, the songs are killer and it sounds great. And I was just going to say, in all seriousness, I mean, getting the number 13, that's amazing. But I think if Philip did the Playgirl spread, that you guys could probably even get higher up on the charts. Broaden your fan base.
Hey, man. Whoever.
Hey, does this thing have video on it? Or are we just broadcasting sound or video? Because I mean,
no, there's video.
Oh yeah.
Let me have another drink real quick. And then,
Cool. It's my concho time, right?
I mean, I don't wear pants on the podcast either, but I don't stand up.
That would
It's
be
cold
nuts.
in here, I swear. Oh man, worst podcast pun to date. Congratulations,
Hey,
sir.
it's still early. Still early. I got dad jokes. For days.
I mean that's a. Oh, good, because we've still got to cover the Titanic bands and porn. I mean, those are two things. Well.
Oh, and your theory about good guitar players and shit stories.
Oh, that's true. So Tyler, you've got to have one. Oh man, we got some jewels. What do we got about 50 something guests, 52 I think, and we have had 5-ish, maybe a few more. I feel just about that, but man, some fucking fantastic shit stories, and they're always from the greatest guitar players. Like the better the guitar player, the better the shit story. So certainly you must have a great shit story.
You mean like literally doo-doo?
This is what everyone's been saying. You mean like, are you talking about what I think you mean? Or
Like taking the shit?
No, shitting. Like actual shit, yes.
Oh, man.
This is the part where my fiance shakes her head in the background like, God damn it. Another fucking podcast of shit stories.
Man, it's okay. I gotta.
Look at Philip thinking all hard, like, what's the gig that Tyler shit his pants on? He's like, he's like, this has already happened since he's been in the band. He's thinking about like which one you're gonna tell.
This actually, it wasn't me that did this. It was Scott, but we were
Put it off on the singer. That's nice.
Hey man,
I like your
it's
style.
too good not to. We're at I think Fitzgerald's in Houston, and this is a long time ago. And we went to rehearsal. Well, my dad showed up, and he's like, "Y'all want to have a drink or something?" This is like noon, and we're like, "Yeah, we're just gonna run through the songs." Well, Scott starts hitting Crown Royal, right? So we get to the gig. It's probably like 2007, and one of the band's sound checking. We're standing in the middle. Scott's drunker than shit. We got to go on in like 5 hours. And anyways, he farts, and he goes, "Oh no!" And so I look at him I'm like, "What happened, man?" And he goes, I think, "Oh man, I got to check." So I'm like, "Okay." Well, instead of running to the bathroom, he just throws his hand down the back of his pants in the middle of the bar and pulls it out, and he goes, "Coast is clear."
Oh man, that sounds like a. I thought that was gonna get way worse, man.
No. But yeah, that was
like an Iggy Pop thing.
He was standing in the middle of the place, everybody's staring at us, and he's just digging back there. "Oh, I think I'm good, man." So
Just digging around. Let me make sure again. Let me double check.
I just
There.
the funny thing about that show too was we played that night. And we had a good set, surprisingly. Of course, I mean, maybe we didn't. We just thought we did. But we get off, or the band, like, we play our last song. The band after us is trying to get on the stage, and Scott's just standing on the front of the stage with his arm folded and go, "I'm not getting off this goddamn stage. We just fucking killed it. They want more." And I'm like, "Dude, Scott, man, would you move, dude?" He's like, "Fuck them, man. We're staying up here." Blah, blah, blah. So anyways,
Oh god.
he starts like wrestling with a buddy while this fucking band's trying to put all their stuff on the stage. And I like walk off. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I mean, I guess they're going to have to get security to get him off stage. My dad walks up to him and goes, "Hey, Scott." He said, "Yes, sir." "Get your fucking ass off stage." "Yes, sir. Yes, sir." So it's like, thank God he's got a little respect for my dad, because
Right. That's hilarious. Like he's like totally having this drunken rock star moment.
it was the biggest rock star thing I've ever seen him live.
And your dad just like straight up plays the dad card and it works. That's awesome.
Yep.
I wonder if that guy he was wrestling with ended up with any surprises from, that leaked out of Scott's britches from earlier in the night.
What do they call that in Mallrats, or like a stink palm or something like that?
Oh,
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I was also when you first started saying it, it made me think of their what is it called, a shark, right?
A shark, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
How are those pretzels?
Wow, that's an old reference right there, man.
Hey,
Kevin
man.
Smith, fucking 90s. Mallrats was what? Was that his first movie?
Nah, Clerks.
One of them. No, I think Mallrats was before Clerks even, actually.
Nah, Clerks was
was
first.
before.
Really? I used to own all those movies, man. I got really into
I love
Jay
Clerks. That
Silent
was a good movie. Yeah, Clerks was a good one.
Yeah, I must not be that good of a guitar player, man. I don't have any, I poop my pants stories. Maybe it's just got good control over my sphincter.
Well, you're the anomaly, I guess. Most guitar players apparently don't. I don't know. I get. Oh shit, guys! Give me a minute. No, that was a bad joke. So the thing is, we've only really gotten that out of what, five or six people. So I think a lot of guitar. It could be like the masturbation thing, though. It could just be a lie, a dirty, shitless lie.
I wish I had a
never
good
shit my
story.
pants.
I'm sure.
No, don't wish that. What a horrible thing to wish. Now you're gonna shit your pants on the next tour.
I've done worse.
You're gonna fucking. You know where you're gonna shit your pants was gonna be that snakeskin prison show. Man, I don't even that's gonna be the biggest. Are y'all doing the Bobby Sharon thing before that? I feel like I heard something about that. Or maybe y'all were talking about that.
I think he mentioned it. He wanted to get us and snakeskin in there, so we're gonna have to train up our livers. Last time
it'd be a disaster. You guys are gonna get so fucking hammered before the show. You guys
That's what we told him we needed to do it the next day, man. Because every time we hang out with those guys, it's nonsense. No, I'm not,
dude. It's always like when I play with Snakes in Prison. Like in the beginning of the night, Matt's like, "What's up, man? Led that," and then by the end of the night, you're like, "Hey, dude, good show." And he's like, he doesn't even know who you are.
He's like throwing shit across the bar.
I'm pretty sure there's been times I've left the show and Matt Ballinger didn't even know who I was, after we just played with him. And then a day or two later, he's like, "Hi, man, did you get paid?" "No, dude." You didn't know what was happening.
Maybe it's because you shit your pants.
No, it wasn't one of those nights.
Oh, okay.
It was, I'm proud to say I don't really have any disastrous explosion stories.
I've thrown up on stage, but I've never shit myself.
Oh. Wow.
That was at the 19th hole, too.
We
a lot of
had to
bad
throw
things have happened at that place.
That's
We had
an
another
interesting
guest talk about throwing up in an Uber.
I was just talking to Pearl. Oops, Pearl.
Yeah?
Yeah, man. She's
finally gonna throw out that song.
Puke. I didn't bring it up, but what I'm gonna do is I'm doing a sneaky audition. This is gonna be my joke to her because she's obviously a great singer. But because I was like, hey, would you mind doing some female vocals on an AGR song, backup vocals, and then after she does that, I'm going to be like, I'm really impressed. I think you should sing on this song called Boot Puke that I wrote. Yeah, she was telling us how she had gotten in it. I'm sure she'll love us spreading this news around on different podcasts, but she had gotten really drunk downtown and taken an Uber. The funny thing is she didn't even puke in her boots. She puked in the Uber, right? But somehow it led to me making a joke about she should have taken her boots. She was wearing some snazzy boots or some shit. And I was like, you should just puked in your boot. Dude, that's the thing about being an Uber driver, right? That shit would suck.
I'm sure it happens all the time, too.
All the time. I would only want to do day driving. I would never want to, deal with fucking, they probably I guess they make pretty good money doing it at that time, but, Jesus Christ, dealing with a bunch of drunk assholes. I don't even know. If I was in a bad mood, it would just end so
loud drunk girls? There's no way.
Dude.
No way.
Yeah. There's nothing worse.
Oh my God.
You could just go around,
and they always get all
just
drunk.
drive around.
What?
I was gonna say you could just drive around and blast AGR. Say, hey, you guys like this guy?
Yeah, I know, right? Me 10 years ago, that would have been me. I'd been like, hey, here's my business card. I don't give a fuck. I'm like, dude, nobody cares about anything. But I'd be like, the girl, the thing about me with the drunk girls, obviously, everyone's can be really obnoxious when they're drunk, but the girls, there's another level jump of just disgusting, because they'll be out all nice and dressed up, and they'll have their heels on, and they get drunk and they get tired and they take their shoes off and walk around 6th Street barefoot. I'm just
black feet. mascara running everywhere because they've cried at some point.
Yeah, I want to like. I'll get him in my Uber and like take notes. So what's your name and give me your information. And then like years later, like she's like married happily with kids, and I just send a picture of her 6 Street feet to her husband, and he leaves her. Jesus Christ!
I
had no idea. You know what you did last time.
I know what you did on 6th Street.
That was so funny. I think I just sharted. Fuck.
You can't wash that off your feet.
Seriously.
I mean, that's a different fungus.
That is. That's like. I
mean, you're
COVID
walking in
before
like
COVID, man.
Hobo
That's how COVID
pee
started.
And
yeah, dude,
rat
like
shit.
just feces and like you're walking in like guitar player shit. That, like they couldn't get to the bar bathroom, so they just did it on the street.
Only the good guitar players, though.
Only like man, yeah, your feet are just soiled in great guitarist shit right now. Did you have?
I stepped in shit, yeah, but that dude rips.
Yeah. Oh man, time day.
I think his name.
You know
is
where to
Stevie.
take this.
Oh man,
Yeah.
they probably take it home and frame it.
There you go.
If it's a really good guitar player.
You know, some of us would. You know, Tyler's probably got like a dime bag shit like in his frame in the bathroom.
Yeah, it had
I
a
wouldn't even
guitar
hold that
pick in it.
against you. Yeah. It's like I'm just gonna leave it.
Didn't have corn. It just has like some weird like.
It's
pick.
little petrified guitar pick.
Yeah.
This is
Skunk would
like
some Eric Johnson stuff there at the house.
Oh man. Oh dude, have you heard all about Eric Johnson and his like insane like what do you call it? Tendencies or obsessive compulsive sort of guitar stuff? Like he's like the guy that like he can tell if there's a Duracell battery versus an Energizer battery in his pedals, that kind of shit. Apparently,
What?
and like every little thing, he's like, "Oh, what's that? Where's that? 400 hertz coming? Oh, it's the Energizer battery or whatever."
So-
like ridiculous shit.
He's annoying, is what you're saying?
Yeah, but well, from what we've heard, but I mean, if you're playing for Eric Johnson, right? You're like, sure,
Right,
dude,
yeah.
whatever. I'm just gonna like be happy to be playing with you in front of people. But like, and then what was the thing about the amp, Vic?
Oh, the shoulders.
Yeah.
Like he had some shoulders replaced on an amp, like some old rusty shoulders put on him or something.
Yeah, he had-
because it sounded better.
Yeah, he wants the shoulders of an amp to be kind of rusty a little bit.
Yeah.
That. All right. That sounds like overkill to me. Like,
I mean-
I'm just going to do this just because I can. See fucking people go with it.
Well, what's weird to me is like I try to just go like, okay, that sounds good, and it's easy to get obsessed with stuff for sure. But I mean, I almost feel like every time I get on stage, I just turn a few knobs and I'm like, nah,
Right.
just play. You know what I mean? Like some guys are like, oh yeah, now I'm trying this tube and that tube and this tube and that tube. And don't get me wrong, like in the studio or if I have a little digital amp, I'll go through stuff and try different stuff. But I get impatient with it at a certain point, and I don't. To me, it's like I don't want to spend an afternoon. I'm just lazy when I'm just not that excited about it, I guess. But I don't want to spend an afternoon like shifting out tubes and doing all these things. Now, having said that, I have met people that have done that, have fantastic sounding rigs and shit.
Right.
But I'm like, man, if I'm going to spend that kind of time, I want to go play like, for people.
I don't know enough about it. That's why I bought that.
Yeah, you got a Kemper, right?
Yeah, that's why I bought it, because I don't know enough about amps and all that shit, so I can just click through and, oh, that sounds cool. All right, let's go.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I've always recorded on live. Well, not so much during the pandemic. I've done some, believe it or not. I mean, I've done a few DI things and have reamped. I've done some stuff through a little Black Star combo that I have, man, which is great. I can just like little digital settings. There's all these different tube configurations you can do, and then I just tweak it. So I've actually used that thing a lot.
Yeah.
And then, but also I've been recording the latest AGR stuff that's been, slowly been recorded over the course of the last 400 years. Is like all been done on a Kemper, man. So
They're awesome. We did our 30p on one that I borrowed, or I guess the studio had it, and that's what sold me on it. And I was talking to a friend of ours that is in actually a pretty big band over in Germany. And when he was visiting, he was like, you got to get a Kemper, you got to get a Kemper. And I was like, okay. I had a pretty awesome Mesa Boogie. And, but I love the thing because, like, right now I'm running a 5150 profile. I've ran Mesa Boogie profiles. I've ran all kinds of shit. And like I said, I don't know enough about all that stuff to really fuck with an amp and get too creative with it. So I like just being able to kind of push through shit.
If you've got them, now I feel like if you've got them in a studio and you got someone that knows how to get the tone or, whatever, if you can do it, that's fine.
Right.
But not at the expense of like, well, I got to spend $6,000 on a Dumble and a this and a that, and then lugging it around, especially if you're playing shows, especially when you have some boutique amp. You don't want to be lugging a $3,000 amp around. It's heavy as fuck. Right. You don't want to risk the road wear and tear and breakage and all that. So, I mean, I had a tank of a Rivera that I used for years, and I've got a Black Star that I love, and I still use that in a cab. But honestly, like, shit, especially if it comes to like a touring situation or something, it's like, man, dude, if you're not, why bother? If you can simplify it and make it simple.
Plus,
carrying my fucking
consistent
amp,
too.
It's consistent, exactly.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about does the sound guy know how to mic an amp, because it just plugs in. So
yeah,
and they can control the house and all that a little easier because you're not battling your amp. And it's cool, man. I feel like I got nothing but good things to say about the thing.
Yeah, no, I feel like for a lot of situations nowadays, it's like especially playing in like your average rock club or dive bar or whatever, like those situations. Like you said, you can always control it and keep it consistent. It's light, it's easy, everything about it is fast. Everything about it, right? And it's just like, so unless you're touring on some level where you're like, it's a big production, you got a road crew and and a tech and all this shit, right? The fuck. I don't want to bother with a bunch of shit anymore. But I mean, I get, I think there's something about authentic tone. It's cool, but at what expense? Especially now that these digital, what do you call them? Whatever simulator amps they've come so far. They sound so good at this point. It's not like the Line 6 pod days.
Right. I remember that thing.
We all had that. We all started there.
Yeah. Yeah. And the other cool thing, Philip bought a E-kit and. He came over, what was it, Sunday, Philip? We plugged that into a PA speaker, plugged my Kemper into it, and we were able to play super low volume, and, it sounded fucking awesome. So it was, it's cool to be able to have that avenue to write and to rehearse and shit and not, I can do it. We actually jammed in my new kid's nursery because it had the most room in it.
Just with him in there, just put little... Or is it a he or a she?
It's
Congrats,
a she.
By the way.
It's a she.
Boy or a girl?
It's a girl.
And do you have a son too?
No, 2 girls,
two
man.
daughters. Oh wow, okay.
But yeah, and I think he was set up like right next to the crib, and I think we had the speaker like on the changing table. So
that's awesome. I remember now seeing a video of you and your daughter. Who is she, like 2 or 3? How old's your older daughter?
I've got a daughter that's 5, and then my other one.
I'm just
4 weeks.
So off on everything, which is typical. But
it's not, hey,
so your son is 14, right?
Yes.
Your adopted son is 14. Cool, gotcha. No, but your daughter was like, looked like super interested. I think you were setting up a guitar or something, and she was like hanging out.
Yeah, I've got an old guitar that. This is actually kind of funny. I got a endorsement deal with this guitar company off of MySpace. And so anyways, I got it and I hated it, and so it just sat in the corner, and decided I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do a setup on it and see if it'll work. It needs a lot of work still, but she had a good time with it, man. So I'm gonna end up fixing it up and giving it to her. That's
badass, man. Is she like into music, or are you about to be driving to Taylor Swift concerts, or what's going on with that?
I would like for her to be more into it. She likes to sing and stuff, and we got a piano, and I'm trying to learn it so I can show her things on it. But yeah, I mean, it's all fun. I've learned a bunch of like Frozen songs and shit on the piano so she can sing.
So it gives you an excuse to finally learn all those Broadway tunes that you've been.
I knew most of them.
You've always had to act. You've always had to act macho in Wellborn Road. Fuck that shit. But secretly, you're like,
I didn't know how to play them. I just knew the choreography and stuff before. So now I can really get into the nuances.
Yeah, man. That's cool that you could actually teach your daughter the dances as well. That's really cool.
Yeah, I'm not good at them because I'm a guy, but I'm a real man's man. So doing the high kicks and shit's tough.
What was that Mark Wahlberg movie with the Anchorman dude, Will Ferrell, right? Where they
the
were
other guys,
the police, the other guys, right?
Yeah.
And Marky Mark was like doing a pirouette or something.
That's me, man.
Yeah,
That's me.
Dude.
yeah.
That movie was God. I saw it in the theater, and I don't think I've seen it since. It was quite a while ago, but the funny thing about that movie was, what I remember was Will Ferrell was kind of like this weird, uptight, OCD dork kind of dude or whatever. And Mark Wahlberg was like the cool cop, but Will Ferrell was just awkward and all this kind of. Well, anyway, then Will Ferrell meets his wife, and he's married to the girl that I can never remember her name, who's super hot. What's her name?
Oh, Eva Mendes.
Eva Mendes. And the whole time,
Yeah.
Mark Wahlberg's just like, "What the fuck? This is your wife? Like, huh?" And she's all like, just like head over heels in love with Will Ferrell, and he's a total fucking dork.
Was he call himself like Gator or something?
Oh,
Gator,
is that
that's
that?
right.
Oh, is that
Gator
that
don't
movie?
play
Yeah,
no
yeah,
shit.
okay. That's right. That's right. Okay.
I like how Michael Keaton kept throwing out some TLC references.
Oh, dude, I gotta go watch that again. I couldn't. Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
I mean, what is he like? The chief of police or some shit? Or
Yeah, he's
Okay.
like their boss.
Awesome,
and
awesome.
Every time they go talk to him, he'd throw out like a TLC song, like a song title.
That's awesome.
He's like, "Hey, just creep." And they're like, "It's TLC." He's like, "What are you guys talking about?" He goes, "That's obviously TLC."
He was in that.
Come on, Lieutenant.
He was in that other one a few years back with Kevin Hart, right? Where he was going to go to jail. And Kevin Hart. Oh, it was called like Get Hard.
Oh,
Will Ferrell and
yeah.
Kevin Hart, and Kevin
Yeah.
Hart was like trying to Kevin Hart was like trying to pretend to be a gangsta, even though he wasn't. He was like trying to like show Will Ferrell like how to be hard in jail, and it was. But did y'all see that one?
I
I never did
I
see
haven't
that
seen
one.
it.
Just
My
you,
favorite
man.
scene in that movie. Yeah, well, my favorite scene in that movie was had Craig T. Nelson, and like anything with Craig T. Nelson's great, but like. Hey, he's always funny, and so Craig T. Nelson's plays like I can't remember the premise exactly, but I think Will Ferrell was going to marry his daughter, right? And he was just this blue collar guy or whatever, and like Craig T. Nelson's like, I can't have this, and or he wanted his daughter to marry some rich yuppie douchebag or some shit, and he was just like. So anyway, he I'm giving away the plot, sorry, but he like. Concocts his plan, I guess, to get rid of him, so he sets him up, blah-de-blah. But in the beginning, he's like talking, because he's the CEO of some company, and in the beginning, he's like talking to Will Ferrell or somebody, and he's like, yeah. He's getting all emotional. He's like, I just started this company with, he's like something about this, some old computer, and he's like, I just remember starting this company with just, my, a little hard work and this old computer and $1 million loan from my father.
That's awesome.
Old coach.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, he was the ice skating coach in that Will Ferrell movie.
Dude, that's
too.
one of my favorite movies.
Was it Blades of Glory?
Yes, that movie's
right?
amazing.
Glory.
It's a fucking
Yeah.
great movie. Yeah,
Now I got to go watch that again. Damn it.
yeah. I could ruin the Wellborn Road podcast by simply reciting that movie, that's how much I love it.
Well, that's another thing we talk about on the podcast is just like good, bad movies.
I'm not a movie aficionado.
Bad movie.
I usually haven't seen them.
My favorite
Movies that are
good
so
bad
bad
movie
they're
is Robin Hood Men in Tights.
With Echu,
Yeah.
that's
you.
fucking. Is that Dave? That's Dave Chappelle's
It is
character.
Dave Chappelle.
and he's young.
Dave
in that,
Chappelle, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's
right.
That's a random one. That's a what's his name? Mel Brooks, right? From golly.
Right. Spaceballs.
and
I wonder when that was. Early
is it
90s.
Carrie
maybe?
Ewells.
Oh yeah, yep,
Carrie
that
Ewells,
dude.
yeah.
Who was the guy in? Well, he was in a lot of. He was the guy in that Bride movie, whatever it was called.
Princess
Everybody-
Bride.
Princess Bride with
Princess
Andre
Bride.
the Giant. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was in Saw. Wasn't he in the first Saw?
That was a good fucking movie, yeah.
Yeah.
I actually think Saw 1, I was just talking about this the other day. I actually think the first Saw was really good, but I think Carrie Ewells or whatever his name is, I think his acting is a little over the top in that movie. That was the only issue I had with it. I thought he overacted a little bit. And you know who was in Saw 2? Fucking Donnie Wahlberg.
Really?
Was it really?
Yeah.
Are you
Well, I don't
saying,
think it was
Saw
Mark
as
Wahlberg.
well,
Saw it,
or
but-
the second Saw?
Yeah, his brother, because his brother was in The Sixth Sense even, and he was been in a few
Yeah.
movies. Oh, dude, his brother Donnie Wahlberg was actually in. I mean, New Kids on the Block, obviously, but let's not forget about that. But he was in. Wasn't he in that? What was that show? The World War II thing that.
Band of Brothers.
Band of Brothers. He was in that, I think. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he's not a bad actor. I mean, they're
His-
both good actors.
His biggest accomplishment is marrying Jenny McCarthy, though. Let's be honest.
He married Jenna McCarthy,
Yeah, he did.
but they're not married anymore.
Probably not. I mean, they're celebrities, so that's kind of.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. They can't.
I
possibly
have
stay
no
married.
idea, but yeah, I saw them together one time, and I was like, good
Well,
for this
yeah,
guy,
old
man.
Jenny McCarthy. Like, well, I say old, I mean young Jenny McCarthy. Like, singled out Jenny McCarthy, where like every guy was drooling over. But like, Jenny,
And I'd,
let's
like-
be honest, like,
3 posters of her whenever I was a kid, man. I was in love with her.
and all those posters got thrown out, all crusty.
Yeah, they were all. They all looked laminated by the time they hit the trash.
Jenny McCarthy seems really annoying, though, does she not?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
she's like
I think
always drunk chick.
you would date her and be like, "Yeah, dude, look," and all your friends would be like, "Damn, dude," and then like a few weeks later, you'd be like, "I want to kill myself." She never shuts up.
She'd have those black feet from Sixth Street.
Yeah, she's a total. You're right. She is a total black Sixth Street Blackfoot girl. You're so right.
Come up with a new term. That's a Blackfoot right there.
Blackfoot.
Sixth
Then you
Street
could be a tribe,
Blackfoot girl.
man.
Yep. Check out that.
All
chick.
that
She's
shit-
probably a Blackfoot.
All that shit sounds so fucking racist. I want no part of this conversation.
Well, yeah.
That's all right. You got a brown guy on here. You get a pass.
Oh yeah, Vic saving the day. It's like that's a nice thing about Sammy and a good Rogering. We're like, no man, we got a Mexican in the band. I'm not racist. It's all good.
That's why.
Isn't he
that's why we
Spaniard?
got Jose Diaz on the bass.
Same
Who's
thing,
not-
right?
Who's not
same
Hispanic, by the way. Jose Diaz, not Hispanic.
It sounds like such a white boy name.
He's what is it? Filipino, I think.
Oh really?
Oh yeah. Okay. Yep. Yeah.
Dude, you guys have you guys seen
Pacific
Breaking?
Mexican.
Oh, ooh, that's exotic. I like it. If I was gay, I'd be curious. So did you guys all see like Breaking Bad? Right? Remember that? I mean, of course, everybody knows Breaking Bad, but except for Tyler, is like I've never watched a movie.
Sorry. Is that the one
I'm
where
like,
they're
it's hard. I don't watch movies. It sounds like Zach Wilde, but it would be true with Zach Wilde. You're like, L.A. chap, I got no time to watch movies.
I just drink beer, lift weights, and fucking play
drink
guitar.
beer, hang out with the Bambinos. This is my son Hendrix, my other son Sabbath. These are like the most pimp kid names ever. Hendrix and Sabbath. Like that's so.
Yeah, it's pretty
Can you
awesome.
imagine like what a badass you are just being Zach Wilde's offspring?
13 names. They're all like guitar players.
Right. This is Hendrix, Sabbath, Page. I literally think that's one of them, actually.
Yeah, it's something like that.
Yeah.
Rhodes. Is Breaking Bad the one where they made meth or something like that?
Yeah. So why I was going with that, since we were on racist stuff, was I was going to say that there's in the very first episode, it's really funny, like because he's got the cop who is like the Walter White's
brother-in-law, right?
brother-in-law, and he's just like the total kind of douchey, arrogant cop. Whatever, putting on this facade, right? Tough guy facade. And then his partner is this Hispanic dude. And they have this bet when they're like going to go make this drug bust, right? And the guy's name, they're like, oh man, he goes by Captain Cook. And he's like, oh man, that's a Mexican, he's like, nah, man, Captain Cook's a white boy. And he's like, nah, dude, he's like, whatever. And so then they bust the guy. His name is like Emilio something, but it's like an Asian last name. And he's like, he's Asian, whatever. And he's like, no. He's like, Emilio. He's like, Emilio's a Mexican name. That's half beaner. He's like, give me. I'll let you out for a dinner. Dude, if I would recommend any
Sounds
one
accurate.
show, I would recommend that show, dude. That is a fucking
It's my
badass
favorite
show.
television show of all time.
It's so good. Yeah,
Yes, it
it's
is.
so
I need to
good.
start that back up.
What is it on? Is it on
I've
like,
been-
Netflix or HBO or something?
I think it's on Netflix still.
Netflix, I think.
I think
yeah.
so, yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was physically tired after episodes during the second, third season. It was just so tense the whole time.
So good. It was so good, man. Yeah, they would just. That was one of those shows. The funny thing when I started watching Breaking Bad, which was a few years after the fact, but I think it was still maybe its last season or something when I started watching it. And like and it just hooks you like right off the bat in the first episode. Like you're just hooked from the first scene. Like holy shit. And then it's a great episode, and it really like puts everything out. It doesn't take time to fucking get going. It's like boom, first episode, you're in this shit, and like. And so then the first season
running around
great.
in his underwear or something.
Yeah, yeah. Like they're in the middle of the very first scene. He's like running around with a gas mask on in his underwear in the middle of the desert. And you're like, what the fuck is this shit? It's crazy.
In the Winnebago.
In
right?
a Winnebago. And you're like, what the fuck? Yeah. It's awesome. And but yeah, you're right, dude. In the second season, like that first, it was just like, I couldn't stop watching. So I would binge watch. Like at night, I'd put it on and I'd fucking, watch an episode. And then I'd be like, I got to watch the next episode. And I'd just like pass out. And so like every night I would just like restart like whatever episode I had fallen asleep on the next night. But I probably blew through a couple of seasons of that in like a week, man, because it was just like so addicting. Yeah.
Was it like 5 seasons?
It was
right?
5. Yeah, and that's what's cool too.
5?
They didn't linger it on. Like they fucking got out of it.
Drag it out like The Walking Dead, right? So
I don't know. I've never watched that. I know there's a lot of fans, but it's like 40 seasons of people eating each other. I'm like, yeah.
Well, the funny thing is, because I've been watching Ozark because so many people talked about it.
So good.
I'm on season 2. But what I've noticed is, you do kind of get tired, but you can't stop watching. But the music in that TV show is just so crazy. I mean, it's just so tense. It just builds a lot of tension in the background. You'd never notice it.
Interesting.
Right, because you're just watching it. But if you pay attention to the music, it's just very, very just... I don't know. It's just
that's an interesting observation, man. I always thought Breaking Bad had a lot of cool music that they put in the show, but with Ozark is kind of in the Breaking Bad. It's the same sort of thing, but almost like darker, right? And even more sinister. It's just like really sinister, and
so it's a darker Schitt's Creek.
A dark. Oh yeah, right. Oh man, dude. Yeah, Ozark. I am whenever that next season comes out, like. I'm fucking on it. Poor Tyler's like, great, I don't watch TV, and I write 40 minutes of TV talking about Back to the Future, Tyler. So, I mean, what's your favorite Back to the Future movie? Do you like the new Star Wars or the old Star Wars?
I watch sports, man. That's about it.
Yeah.
There we go.
You dirty Aggie.
Yes,
hey,
sir.
so there's like there's college football guys and there's pro football guys. I'm a pro guy, and Tyler and I actually love the fun banter between my Seahawks 12 guitar, because as an Aggie, I know how infuriating that must be. But it's pretty funny when you like held up my guitar and trash talked it like a
I have that video somewhere, man.
It's pretty fucking funny, man. That was fun.
I'm
college
football all the way.
Yeah, I've always been this kind of the pro guy, and I don't know why. Ever since as a kid, I like the Seahawks. I can't really tell you why, but I've always been a true fan. And college football is to me, it's always been kind of take it or leave it. It's fun to it's always fun to go to a game. Like I don't mind watching it, but I don't follow it. I think it was always because it's just there's so much and so many teams, and if you're not like really associated with a university, it's not. But Vic, you're like a college dude, right? I mean, I know you do pro too, but you're like way more into the college stuff.
No, not necessarily.
No. But I guess
over the last couple of years, especially this last year, I haven't really paid attention to any sports. I was just kind of like, But
I'm stupid. Like Saturdays, man, get up. I don't put on pants for a while. Just turn it on, college football, and I can watch Bethune and Cookman play Colgate and get into the game, man. I don't care who's playing. I love it.
Yeah.
But,
there's something about sports in general for I think a lot of guys in particular, girls too. But like, man, in a weird way, you would think like, it's these guys running around and hitting each other and violence, and it's so. But in this weird way, like it's like I feel like it's a calming thing, right? For like a guy, it's like such a relaxing.
Agreed.
I don't know. Look, no.
me.
Let me rephrase. I'm sorry, I fucked that up. Wait. If you're not invested, if it's two teams you don't give a shit about, then you're just watching, and it's just like It's just fun and it's relaxing, and I always just feel good when football's on. Now, if it's like the Seahawks and the 49ers in a playoff game, I'm a fucking mess. Like, don't fuck with me. You know, like, it's you're right. It's totally different if it's your team, right?
I always tell people that, like, hey, I'm not fun to watch Aggies with. I don't enjoy the games, like, at all.
Yeah. No, it's true.
and I don't like people to come over and watch them with me if they're not as into it as I am. Like, I don't want to see you chit-chatting and all that shit. Like, we're here to be, like, pissed off for 4 hours. Win, lose, or draw.
I got a quarter shackle story from way back in, like, 2006, right? Right when I joined the band and all this. And so me and Blaine, the bass player, was on that first AGR EP. You know, he was in that band, and we recorded that together, and we've done a bunch of work over the years. And so we became friends right away, and we were both big sports fans, you know, as well as music, and vibed on a lot of the same stuff. But he was one of those dirty Dallas Cowboys fans, and I was a Seahawks fan. And so it was hilarious because he had a party, and it was him and his roommates, and they were and like his old longtime high school buddies or whatever, which at that point had only been a few years. But like they were all these like die-hard Dallas Cowboy fans. And then it was me and my brother was a Seahawks fan, although my brother doesn't really care about football. And then there was like, and you could tell who the sports fans were and who didn't give a fuck, because like half the room was kind of like on a couch, like in one place, and in the kitchen, like eating queso and fucking around. None of them gave a shit about the game, and the rest of us were all sitting there like just like losing our fucking minds, like agonizing over this game. And so this was the game, like where I think it was a playoff game, where and they were taunting me and talking shit the whole fucking game, and the Cowboys were winning. And so at the very end, like the Cowboys, or maybe the Seahawks took the lead or something, and the Cowboys just had to kick a field goal to win, right? And they're like there at the goal line. It's a chip shot. Romo fucking fumbles, you know, botches the snap. And I just, dude, I lost, and they were fucking taunting. So the whole, dude, I lost my shit. I was like, and ever since then, like Blaine was like, I learned my lesson. I don't talk shit. You know, I mean, but yeah, dude, it was just funny because the rest, like, I'm like running around like a salivating animal, like after this kick, and like the rest of the room is just like, what's going on? Like, you know, they don't understand like what's happening in the brains. And then like literally like some of the Cowboys fans, they had to like wrestle after the thing to like get their aggression. What am I gonna do? I lied. I'm gonna fucking wrestle another guy. No, I get the sports thing.
Yeah,
Philip,
man.
are you a psycho as well when it comes to sports?
I am a Browns fan.
Oh, whoa!
Yeah.
Hey, they did
very, very
suicidal.
They did very well this year. Yeah, well, it was up until last.
I know that's
year.
what I was going to say, but now they actually. Yeah, they did. I always forget everything next season. Once the next season happens, anyway. But did they make the playoffs?
They did.
Yeah, they won.
Yeah, last year.
They won their first game. I can't remember. I think they lost the second game, but it was the first time since 2001 that they had made the playoffs.
They beat the Steelers and lost to beat the Steelers and lost to Kansas City, I think.
Oh yeah,
or
Kansas
Baltimore.
City.
Yeah,
okay.
you're right.
Yeah, Kansas City, dude. Which wow, I mean, holy fucking props to Tom Brady, man. That guy, Jesus Christ. I thought for sure Kansas
Tampa
City
Bay?
was going to take that. Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
okay. Yeah.
But
yeah.
I mean, once that guy goes somewhere else and still takes the Super Bowl.
Did you hear today? I heard that Rodgers is trying to get out of Green Bay. He said he doesn't want to play for him next year.
Whoa, what's that about?
Yeah, I was like, I think he wants to go to San Francisco. So sorry, Skunk.
No, I actually like Aaron Rodgers. That's disappointing. Here's the problem with San Francisco. Like, I don't know why I've never really liked the team. I do like the city, but like, and I would just went to a Giants game. I had a blast. I don't really have anything invested in baseball, so I'm like, I'll go for the Giants. I don't care. And they played the Colorado Rockies. They were just horrible, but it was so that's boring. But anyway, like San Francisco 49ers, like if they weren't in the same division as Seattle, like it might be a different story. Like maybe I could go watch a game and be like, they're playing a team I don't care about, I'll go for them. But I can't, right? It's like you're never going to see a Cowboys fan like going for the Washington football team. You know what I mean?
Whoa.
Easy there, fella. Isn't it funny? Like you can't. It's not like I'm saying it to be like, haha, I'll say what I want. I'm just like, you say it for 30 whatever years or 40 years.
Dumb.
You're like, oh, it's ingrained, So
I hope they keep the football team just to kind of like.
I think it's hilarious.
Be funny.
I think
we can't have that. We're gonna have the most generic thing on the planet.
Washington
We're the football
team. I think it's great.
It's as generic as the Texans.
The Texans is the worst, right? Like seriously, like you couldn't come up with anything.
Right?
Like they literally could have just like been like
the Houston
cow.
Houstonians.
Yeah, the Houston oil spills. Oh wait, that's too close to the Oilers.
I would probably be an NFL fan still if the Oilers were around because I loved the Oilers when
I
was
loved the
kid.
Oilers back in the day, man.
I think they had the sharpest uniforms on the planet.
Oh, speaking of heartbreak, I mean, I was only a kid, and I don't know if you were, in diapers or what, but like the one of the most crushing defeats. The Buffalo Bills, and I guess that would have been around 90, right? That was, I guess that was.
Yeah, like 90.
Oh, the 4 in a row.
95.
They. I think I want to say it was like 35-3 at the half or something, and then
they were
something like that, and then Buffalo came back
with their backup quarterback too.
Dude, I remember like growing up in our just being from Texas, and we were like hanging with my best friends in San Antonio. Both our dads were these huge Cowboys and Steelers fans, and just everything was great, having a good time. And after that second half, our dads, like, you could not even like talk to them. They were just like so depressed and miserable. and that's when that's when I realized the true joy of football.
Yeah, right. No doubt about it, man. But you know what? When you win something big, though, there ain't nothing like it.
Yeah,
there's nothing like it. When you beat the
Absolutely.
team that you weren't supposed to beat or something like that, it's just, oh man, there's no better feeling.
I get annoyed with all the during the Super Bowl, especially like the halftime shows and just all the extra stuff. And if I'm at a Super Bowl party and people want to pay more attention to like the Puppy Bowl or something, I get really annoyed. It's like, no, I just want to watch the damn game.
Well, the Puppy Bowl is kind of cute. I mean,
The Puns and the
remember
Puppy Bowl are dynamite.
remember they used to have the Bud Bowl, right? The Bud Bowl was great.
We used to have the lingerie bowl in between during the halftime, I think.
Oh, we're way too PC for that these days. I was going to go back to the. I started to say the Washington football team, but I don't know if you guys saw this meme, and I thought it was fucking awesome. And I was like, I wish, no way this would have ever happened in a million years, but I was like, perfect solution and hilarious meme. There was someone that was like, problem solved, and it was just the helmet with a couple of red potato skins on it. That would have been the best. Just guys all fucking serious, oh, let's fucking do this, and like potato, like French fries on their helmet.
The Spuds.
The Spuds.
That's awesome.
Remember those old atrocious Patriot helmets with the fucking dude in the
hiking the ball?
Oh, in the stands?
They were the worst. They were the worst. And the Patriots were good. That's why like the Browns could be something, right? Because those dynasties come and go, and like the Patriots were garbage, and then all of a sudden they became like the greatest dynasty in the history of the game. Unfortunately.
Tampa Bay used to have those creamsicle uniforms.
Oh, they had those kind of those little pop
dude,
ups.
fucking dreamsicles,
Those orange ones? Yeah.
Dude, for like a year or 2 years, Seattle had horrible uniforms when they made the transition. They were just like these horrible, like dark puke green, like.
Now they're like highlighter
terrible.
Green, though, aren't they?
Or yeah, highlighter. It was hard, like burning your retinas out, like watching the game green. It was terrible. And then they do the throwback uniforms, which are hilarious. My favorite of those is the Steelers with the Bumblebee uniforms.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Ugly, man. Ugh.
I feel like the only team that's never changed uniforms is, maybe Green Bay. No, they have
The
their own
Browns,
ones that
right?
they wear
The
with, like,
Browns
a
have pretty
blue.
much had the same thing.
Maybe, but the Cowboys,
Yeah.
right? The Cowboys have never changed.
Yeah.
Yep.
I used to work with a guy
They used
that
to have the white
played
helmets
for,
with the blue
We were just
star.
talking
played
about
for the
it.
Seahawks.
Really?
Yeah, he actually it's like third all-time sacks or something like that. Jacob Green, he played for him in the late 80s or mid-80s.
Holy
maybe.
shit! Wow, cool. Damn, he played. That was in Warren Moon's stretch, probably. It's Warren Moon after years with when he with the Oilers, right?
Mm-hmm.
He went to the Seahawks for the last few years of his career.
Late 80s.
I tell you what, Vic, this episode's not going to increase our already diminishing woman audience with this kind of conversation. They demand more shit stories.
Let's get a band on here and talk sports.
Yeah, this is great. This I feel like such a man right now.
Right.
Sports and black people.
Testosterone's flying through the roof.
Yeah, that should be the like. They should change like the name of the Austin. I would say a football team. It's got to be women, so it should be like the Austin Roller Derby team should be called like the Austin Blackfoots.
Blackfoot.
They already have a girls' football team there.
Yeah, I was talking about. I don't know about football, but I was talking about this
love
like
that.
when we went and watched the Giants baseball game with. Wow, what a badass park, man! Have you been to Oracle Park or Vic out in San Francisco?
No, I haven't. I
awesome.
stayed at a hotel across from it, but I never did go into the park.
It's really cool because it's right on the bay and it's just badass.
Yep.
But anyway, so yeah, it's just like was cool just being at a baseball game. I hadn't been in so long, and just to be at a sporting event out, it was just fun. And but I was thinking, it's like, and I'm just kind of being up and mighty and everything because I'm like, well, yeah, this is so cool. But like Austin doesn't have like any pro sports teams, right? Or maybe they have like soccer, but nobody cares. Like so they've got, but like they've got the Round Rock like baseball team, but it's not like
Express.
Yeah, but it's not like whatchamacallit, right?
It's a farm team, a feeder team. It's a minor league.
So it is
Minor league.
Look at me just being a jerk. Hey, I was going to say, tying you guys together. So as a Browns fan and as an Aggie, when Manziel went to the Brown, I mean, is that just an embarrassment for everybody, that guy? What do y'all feel about that guy?
Manziel did exactly what I needed him to do, and that was be incredible for the Aggies. I didn't really care what he did after that.
I was so fucking excited when he got it drafted, man, and then what preceded that was just a shit show. It was embarrassing and disappointing.
Yeah, Johnny Football became Johnny Woman Beater. Like I don't even know what happened to that guy, but he like plays golf and drinks. Oh,
he was already like his family's like loaded.
Sounds nice.
So he still has a good life, I guess.
Yeah, I worked for A&M's athletic department for a long time, and he got there like, I guess the year after. He got there right, I guess a year before I left, and so I knew a bunch of people that knew him before he was even like starting. When he redshirted, and yeah, they're like, that dude is nuts. He can fucking party. But
wow,
that was one of the funnest years of football I ever watched, man. That guy was incredible to watch. And you know what? If you go back and watch like him play his game against the Steelers with the Browns, he lit them up. The dude just had no work ethic as far as practice and learning the system and showing up. Yeah. And so I think he had the skills. He just didn't have the mindset for it.
The drive, yeah.
Because they were saying when he was playing for A&M, he hardly ever went to the meetings. He'd show up hungover to the games and then set records. So they were like, you can't really get onto the guy, if he's like throwing up before the game hungover, and then he goes out and, puts up 800 total yards.
Wow. That's pretty interesting, man. I guess some people are just naturals and you can kind of get away with it for a while, and then
once you get to that next level, though, you can't go out there and just play around.
You
get
don't
to the real world.
Yeah, you don't see Tom Brady partying much, man. That guy is probably like got the strictest routine of everyone in the world.
Nerd alert.
Goes to bed at like 8:00 at night. Fucking nerd. What have you ever done, nerd? Oh, nerd. 7 Super Bowls. My bad.
Is that all?
That's just insane, dude.
Yeah.
Did y'all see Ted? Did y'all see Ted too? I know Vic has because we're always quoting it.
I haven't seen the second one, just the first.
They try to steal Tom Brady's sperm.
Yeah.
They break into his fucking house in Boston, and Ted's like got a little raincoat on. They got like a little plastic cup and a raincoat.
It's like a solo cup too, right?
Seriously,
like a plastic solo cup.
Y'all got to watch Ted too. That movie's goddamn hysterical.
When they go to the improv deal, that was hilarious.
That's brutal too. Yeah, it's awesome. He's like, could we get something? What does the guy say? Like, okay, guys.
Somebody name a subject or something.
Yeah, can we get? And he's like, Bill Cosby. Yeah, because they're doing like that thing that's like the what do you call it? That show. What's that fucking show called? Where they just people yell shit out and they got to improv it on the spot, or whose line is it anyway? That shit, right?
Whose line is it anyway?
Yeah. And so they're like, okay, so give us a subject or whatever, and like everything they keep yelling out from the back is like Bill Cosby. I forget what else, like Benghazi or whatever, you know.
Yeah, Benghazi.
Okay, and the guy's like, oh, okay. How about Starbucks? So what's happening in the? Who's in the Starbucks?
They're like, nobody said that.
He's like, who's in? Yeah. He goes, who's in the Starbucks? Bill Cosby.
Bill Cosby.
Does this coffee
really
smell
good.
like chloroform to you?
Oh God, dude. I don't know. I'm proud. I've been proud of myself for years because I never really liked Bill Cosby as a comedian, and everyone like thought he was so great. And then it came out that he was a dirtbag, and I was like, I always knew it. Just like, well, maybe not knew it, but I never liked him. Just like the Jared guy from Subway.
Jesus,
Dude, like, how could anybody watch that fucking guy and not know he was a pedophile? Look at the guy. I swear to God, I won't eat fucking Subway, but strictly based on the retarded marketing team. It's ridiculous. It's upsetting. It's like, have some fucking judgment. What fucking CEO looked at that fucking asshole and said, yeah, we want you to be the face of the company. Watch my daughter for a few hours. What the fuck? Oh.
Jesus Christ.
I don't like Jared. That's all I'm saying. Hey, Philip, I don't want you to feel left out. Did you have a shit story you wanted to share?
no, I don't have a shit story. I've had a lot of drunk stories with these fuckers, but
I can't. That's
that involved.
Drunk with Wellborn Road. That sounds made up. I can't believe that. No way.
Yeah,
no way. That's true.
It never really happens.
This coming from the band with the leprechaun that shit himself on stage 15 years ago. Poor Scott's going to listen to this podcast and be like, God damn it. I knew I should have gone on that fucking
live.
thing. Yeah. Boy, can you imagine? We really I don't know if that's a good thing or not. On the one hand, it's like if we were live, what would be happening right now? We'd be getting canceled, like on the spot. We've said Blackfoot, Redskin, Leprechaun. Leprechaun's probably a dirty word. You know?
But we were referring to
We have
white girls' feet, and we were
White
referring
girls'
to
feet.
potatoes.
Potatoes,
Yep.
and the lead singer of Wellborn Road. Those all check out, not racist.
I'm sure Scott will be okay with it.
You know, he knows he shit
Maybe.
his pants.
Maybe, I don't know.
We have
He
one
gets
of
a little
those-
sensitive.
warnings. This could contain sensitive subjects.
Hey, that's
If you
not a
wanna
bad
see it.
idea. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. We should have disclaimers on all the podcasts. It was really funny when someone was like, "Can we cuss on this?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's going to be
almost
the
asked
least.
that.
I should have said no.
It's going to be the least of your problems." Hey, can I bring my daughter on?
My daughter just walked in here.
Yeah, I love
Here from Sixth
Frozen's
Street.
great.
Nah, she's
So what's
she's cool.
So what's up? What's upcoming for Wellborn Road? You will have played the Snakeskin Prison show by the time this airs. Probably sorry that we suck.
It was a fucking
Skunk
awesome
Fest.
show, by the way.
Yeah, dude, I was there. I got so drunk with Matt, it was crazy.
Right? Yeah, we were drinking Jaeger, man.
It was great, man. Yeah. Hey, buddy. I want to introduce you to Keith. I love Matt. Matt's the greatest guy.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
he's
you
just-
can't help but like him.
And you can't help but have fun with that West Virginia accent.
West Virginia.
Snakes. We are Snakeskin Prison, and I'm already drunk.
Yeah,
Matt's kind of impressive, like the way he'll actually do things. I've seen him do things though when he's fucking hammered, and he'll do like a cool thing that they plan and actually do it. And you're like, how are you pulling? And then he can't even like find his way off the stage. I'm like, how do you do that?
right. Just has like these brief moments of clarity.
Right.
Yeah, we're
anyway,
so we're playing their gig, which I guess we played their gig for their record release. And then I think in June we're going to College Station and going to be playing up there. July we're going to be in Houston. August we'll be doing Skunk Fest. And then I'm sure we're going to be sprinkling in some other stuff here and there. And right now me and Phil are kind of trying to write the next record and get that all taken care of. We got one song that's basically done, and then probably 4 or 5 other ideas basically to kind of hash out.
Are you looking at another 5 or so?
Yeah, I'm going to try to do another 5-songer. Probably just like we did, because we can kind of, like we were talking about using the Kemper and shit, record everything in my house. So, man, that saves a ton of money.
A system. Yeah.
Just recording DI guitars awesome, and then send them off to whoever's mixing them and then let them do whatever. So that was cool. The only thing that sucked was, I'm not no fucking engineer. So I was learning all this shit while we were recording, learning how to, make sure everything was tight and edit and, splice and do all this shit. So I'm sure I could have been done a whole lot quicker if I knew what I was doing. Plus, when you're doing your own song, like you were talking about, man, you turn into a perfectionist. You're sitting there, oh man, that's not perfectly, and there's a little that whatever they're called, transients, just a little bit off or whatever nerd stuff, and you get focused on that, and so but yeah, we're working on making the next record, man. And actually, it's gonna be cool. It's just continued evolution in what we're doing.
Awesome. Yeah, it's so true about the recording, man. But at this point, it's like someone in every band needs to know how to do it, I think. Like you said, just totally agree. The budgeting alone. And I think then whenever you are in studios, you have a little bit better idea of what's going on. You're not completely at the mercy of everyone else, just sitting, especially like a young band just like sitting there drinking beer and be like high-fiving and you have no idea what's actually going on with your music,
Yeah. Probably the best thing we did was we more or less recorded all the songs like fully before we even went to go do the studio stuff. So we had already written all the vocal harmonies. We already knew where everything we wanted to do. So we just went in there, hammered it out. And then, when it came time to mix, it was like, hey, now you don't have to focus or, any of the production part. We don't have to focus on writing anything for it at this point. It's just execution. And now it's adding layers on there of, hey, do we want fucking explosions or fart sounds or whatever?
Yeah. That was my only critique of the new EP was not enough fart sounds.
Yeah. Well,
so I hope
get ready for the next one, man.
Well, and that was going to be my next question. Are you going more of the Florida Georgia line route? Because if so, then I'm going to hear lots of fart sounds, and sounds like that's what we're looking for. It's
a different kind of blast beat.
What was the name of this new song? This new song, I think we were going to call it "Crazy Shit Story."
Yeah,
yeah.
It's going to have to be a great solo, though. I got my work cut off.
You just disappear in woodshed for a year. Like all the songs have been done. It'll be like a Tool record. Like, why isn't it done yet? You're just 12 hours a day. It's not. I'm not there yet. It's not good enough.
I got to learn these exotic scales.
I have to 8-finger tap to be to live up to my name. Buckethead must just shit his pants every show. Yeah. Buckethead just takes his bucket off and shits in it after every show.
That's why he wears the bucket.
There you go. We figured something out. That's what we do on this podcast. We solve mysteries. Man, I've been watching
that Austin Blackfoot single.
I've been watching that show, Unsolved Mysteries, and that is an upsetting show. Like, I remember watching that as a kid. I still think that's some of the greatest, like, scariest music ever, and just, like, hearing the music would be terrifying. Like, Tyler hearing his daughter crying right now has got to be terrifying.
You can hear
that? God, what has happened now? What did she do now?
She's 4 weeks, and that's all she does.
But that music would come on, and, like, just... And then Robert Stack's fucking creepy voice comes in, and it would just be, like, locking the doors and all... Lately, though, now I started watching some of these, and I'm just like, man, it just pisses me off. Like as if cops aren't already in just a horrible shitstorm as it is. Like, we definitely don't want, protesters and stuff going and watching Unsolved Mysteries episode. They'll get even more mad at cops. Like, everything these guys, all the episodes are the same. It's like, well, There was a broken window from the all these like clues that someone was pushed out a window, and they're like, oh, it's a suicide. Everything's just like, and then we just thought it was a suicide. Update 20 years later, right? So and so was convicted of so and so's crime after he was dead. Like, too late, fuckers. Like, but like every episode is like, was it a suicide? No, it wasn't a fucking suicide. Anyone who's not, whoever that cop on that detective on that case was, knows that was not a suicide.
They're long retired.
That was a rant that had nothing to do with anything. I'm sorry. This is what I do.
What do you say we lighten the mood and talk about the Night Stalker?
Vic is obsessed with these serial killers. He's like a woman. He's obsessed with serial killers. Dude,
No,
what is the deal
no.
with women and serial killer documentaries? They love that shit.
There was chicks that would come to his court case just to like
Oh,
drool
yes.
over him, man. That's crazy.
That was crazy.
All of them should be given the death penalty. This is my thing, and I'll say it on this podcast. I'm not ashamed of it. Y'all are from Texas. Y'all are a rock and roll band from Houston, Texas. I'm sure y'all aren't going to get offended, but I just feel like we got to really up the death penalty, man. We're not killing enough bad people. We got to get them out of here. Make some room. Yeah.
I got no
You walk
problem
on
with that.
you fucking murder somebody, you're gone. You walk on 6th Street with no shoes, you're gone. I mean, we just got to get rid of people.
Hashtag make some room.
No one, you're worthless now anyway. It's just going to end in a horrible divorce somewhere down the line.
You've been ruined.
Yeah.
You've been ruined.
Man, fortunately, I can't think of them right now. But like, I've had some other really good bad ideas for running for office. I don't think I actually could run for office. Like, there's got to be. Is there any criteria? I'm in California right now, and there is none. Anybody can run for governor out here. We've seen it before, and they're literally talking about. They're literally talking about recalling. What's the guy's name?
Newsom.
They're recalling his votes, and like if that happens, like everyone and their dog like will run for governor of California again. You know, it's crazy. I might move out here just to run for governor.
There you go.
For fun. Can you imagine coming to California and being like a huge supporter of the death penalty? That'd be amazing. It really makes me want to do it, actually. Like, my whole platform is, I don't even say why, I just say death penalty. That's like all I answer to everything. It's my solution for everything.
Revert back to that for everything.
Yeah.
How do you feel about global warming? I think it should
Death penalty.
have the chair.
Death penalty. Overcooked chicken, death penalty. Undercooked chicken, death penalty. You make an appointment with the dentist and you miss it, death penalty.
How do you feel about the raising prices of cost of living? I think it needs to die.
Everything. That's my solution to everything. Sounds good. Still better than our last governor. Come on in. Got the job. So, what was I going to say? Who cares? I don't know. Big help. Man, things just got awkward, right? It's got
I
awkward.
feel
Like
weird now.
we're all having that 6th Street Girl moment where she realizes, like, she's not getting any dick that night. Yeah, she's not getting any dick that night, and her feet are covered in rock star guitar player shit, and she's just like all sad, sitting on the curb crying,
Looking for her phone.
looking for her phone. Her
Something that we had
Eating
talked
street
about
pizza.
earlier that I wanted to talk about was concept albums.
Yes.
We were
Ooh.
talking about
Yeah,
an
Sturgill.
EP versus a full album, and I think 2 concept albums that were like huge influences on me were Downward Spiral from 9 Inch Nails and Obsolete from Fear Factory. And just the time and focus that it takes to put those songs together, and not just like, hey, we wrote each one of these individually, but have them lead into another song and actually create this journey is something that you don't really see a lot anymore or at all.
totally agree. Yeah.
It's very rare. Yeah, because there used to be, man.
That was like the thing in the 70s, and then the metal, and then in the 80s, and like bands like Queensryche did it, you know. But I mean, you had the Rush, and you had
I didn't know
Invading
that
Disney
Obsolete
was
was
obviously.
a
I didn't either.
record.
Actually, I don't even know the.
Really?
Yeah, I've heard the album 1,000 times, man, but I didn't put that together.
Yeah.
I have to go back and listen to it. That's a great record.
That is a great record.
I want to say, I I think Mastodon has at least one of their albums is kind of that whole concept story.
What is it?
I believe that. Mastodon's incredible.
All of their
Crack the
albums,
Side? Is it all of them?
They all
I know
have a theme, but
Yeah,
I
like-
think the one that followed
Crack the
Moby
Sky.
Dick was
Leviathan?
No, what's the one with Blood and Thunder on there?
Is it
Iron Tusk.
is it an older one?
Yeah,
Leviathan, yeah.
Leviathan.
Yeah. So that's a
Yeah.
concept album based off of Moby Dick.
Really? Man, I tell you what, I've got a couple of their older albums, but I've really been going down a Mastodon rabbit hole the past few, month or so. Really
That guy's
digging a
guitar
lot.
tone is
Killer
retarded
shit,
good,
man.
man.
Oh, man.
Really
God.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, I really dig, and I can't remember which one's which, but the one that just plays rhythm all the time, man, he's just
Yeah.
on it.
That is,
Troy.
Is
I,
it,
Hey,
I don't remember.
was it on one of those?
There's bass, guitar, and drums. There's only 3 of them.
no, there's not. There's 4.
No, there's another guitar player.
four.
Who sings.
Oh no, you're
Yeah.
right. There is a 4.
There's the dude that has a tattoo
His
on
name
his
is- his
face.
name is-
He's the lead.
That's Brant. Brant. Bill something.
Bill. Yeah. Bill something.
Was it on this podcast, Vic? I think it was with somebody, I can't remember who, but we were talking about a super group called Giraffe Tongue
Kill 'Em and
Orchestra.
Kill?
Giraffe Tongue
Giraffe Tongue
Orchestra.
Orchestra.
And
Yeah.
it's badass, and it's what's his name? William Duvall from Alice in
William
Chains?
Duvall from and it's
One of the guys
Brett
from
Hines.
Brent Hines from Mastodon. Some dude from Dillinger Escape Plan. I can't remember who else it was.
Yeah.
No, one of the guys from Mars Volta too, right? I think there's a guy from Mars Volta in that band. Could be wrong.
I
Maybe the
haven't heard
drummer?
of them.
It's pretty cool, man. Yeah, it's definitely
I know,
one of those super groups.
Killer Be Killed is Max Cavalera, the bass player from Mastodon,
Troy, and then the singer from Dillinger.
singer from Dillinger Escape Plan.
Maybe I was thinking about that one. Yeah,
They got 2 records, and they're both fucking awesome.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. Damn, I forgot about that project. You're right. That is good shit.
Yeah, I think they came out with a new record like 6 months ago or something, and it's badass, man. It's really fucking good. I think Troy's voice is killer. Got enough gravel to it, but it's unique.
So we talked about we went off a lot on Black Label, who's amazing, obviously. Mastodon.
I was gonna say Blackfoot.
Blackfoot
Society.
Society.
We talked more about Blackfoot than we did BLS, but yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah. Just to reiterate, we actually talked about the band Black Label Society at one point. Their second album, or their whatever album, Dirty Dirty Eternal. That was stupid. Okay, Black Label Society. Who else?
Dirty, dirty feet. Who knows?
Oh, the blessed shit ride. God damn it. What are some of your other big influences, Tyler? Because then I want to talk to Philip about Typo Negative a bit. What are some of your big influences that made you want to play guitar?
Man, my big 3 guys are Zach Wilde, Dimebag Darrell, and James Hetfield, man. Those were the guys. I'm sure that's probably a lot of guys who play our style of music. Those are, who got them interested in it.
Sure.
When I started playing, it was all I wanted to learn was Metallica songs, and then I got into Pantera big time, and I got introduced to Ozzy stuff, and I actually saw that Live and Loud Ozzy Osbourne deal on like VH1 randomly in like the middle of the night when I was a kid, and heard Zach do pinch harmonics, and now I do them every other note because of that.
Right, of course. Do you use like super thick strings like Zach Wilde?
No, I think I'm like 10 through 52, I think.
Gotcha.
But yeah, those are probably my big 3 guys. Obviously I listen to a ton of shit now, but when I was first getting into it, that was my jam.
Okay, so do you have a favorite Metallica record, favorite Pantera record, favorite BLS record, and even a favorite Ozzy record?
My favorite Ozzy record is Osmosis.
Interesting.
then-
It's a good one.
Yeah, it's fucking Perry Mason's got to be one of the coolest guitar riffs on the planet.
Fucking best guitar tone ever.
Dude,
Right.
Perry Mason, and I love the second. He has some really cool chorusy solos on that
Yeah.
album, and I love I Just Want You. I love that song. It's probably one of my favorite
Yeah.
Aussie songs.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Old LA
Was that-
Tonight, Jekyll and what's that one called?
My Jekyll Doesn't Hide. That riff is killer.
song.
Yeah.
That's
Killer
a killer
riff.
song.
What-
Dude. Yeah, that's an underrated
was that
album.
the-
That is a really good album.
Right? Yeah.
Was that the last one that Bob was on?
What's that?
The last. Remember we were talking about Bob Paisley? Was it Bob?
Jesus Christ! Did Bob Paisley? At that point, I wouldn't think so. I would have thought it would have been someone else.
Or was the last one No More Tears? I don't remember.
He,
I was
well,
just
I bet
thinking about
he
that.
was on No More Tears because we thought it was Mike Inez, but he was.
Oh, and he was playing
But
it.
he
I think
was no,
Geezer
but he
Butler
played
plays
only
the
on that
bass
one
on,
song.
Osmosis.
You're right because we were talking about how he toured with Ozzy too for a while
Right.
after that.
Um,
Wow, how
man,
about that?
favorite-
Yeah, pretty cool.
Favorite Pantera record is The Great Southern Trendkill.
Oh, that's an interesting choice.
Well, there's not a bad song on it, man. There's no fillers on it. Even though the
Yeah.
slower ones are creepy as fuck. The just everything
That's the one
about
with
it.
Floods, right? And Drag the
Right.
Waters and all that is on there.
Right,
And dude,
right, right.
that album just kicks ass the way it comes out. That's such a great riff, man. The Southern Trendkill riff. It's
Yeah,
just
I mean,
so fucking
the scream to start
that
the
is the,
record. I mean, it's holy fuck.
perfect
then it goes-
blend of that fucking Southern rock and metal. You know?
Right.
It's
And
bluesy but heavy as fuck.
It goes into that long ass country and western guitar solo.
Yeah.
Song. It's in it, but it
Dude, yeah.
fits. I mean, it works.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Metallica would be "And Justice for All." And that was it, right?
Do you think any bass players cite "And Justice for All" as their favorite Metallica album?
I don't know, but if you YouTube the one where they added bass to it, it's
Yeah.
awesome. But I think
that
those songs
Yeah.
are my favorite. I'm not
Yeah.
a huge fan of the way they're recorded, but I think those songs on there are just awesome. So, yep.
Okay, let me ask you this. Oh wait, Black Label record.
Oh,
Is your favorite one of those?
either their newest one or their first one, either Sonic Brew or Grimmest Hits. Grimmest Hits has my
Yeah,
favorite
man.
song. They have a song called "A Love Unreal" on there that I think is the shit, and
Wow, I gotta check that shit out.
it's really fucking good.
Dude, that fucking album is
It's
amazing.
very Black
I'm
Sabbathy.
ashamed of myself.
It's very Black
Oh, dude.
Sabbathy.
Well, I mean, speaking of that guy just being an animal and a total workhorse, I mean, now he's doing goddamn Zach Sabbath, which kicks ass. I saw
Did
them
you-
at the NAMM show.
did you hear the
a few
record?
years ago? It's fucking awesome. I
It's
dude,
so
I heard the
good.
Wizard come on I heard the Wizard come on the radio a while back, and I was like, I heard it, and I was like, that's Sabbath, but I don't think it actually is Sabbath. And then everything came in, and I was like, wait a minute. And I remembered, oh my God, that's fucking Zach Sabbath. They did it. They did a record. And I guess he's going to start doing the catalog. I don't know if that's the plan.
I hope
or-
so, man, because they took that
Jesus,
record and it's
that's
that
cool.
record's great, but man, you put some modern production on it and all
Yeah,
the
yeah.
shit that Zach Wilde can do. I mean, Tony Iommi's the man, but Zach Wilde just is on a different level than everybody. So
Yeah. Yeah, dude. That's pretty killer stuff. Well, I definitely got to check out the new BLS record. Any
Yeah,
least
there's
favorites of any of those bands?
my least favorite out of those bands, their records,
Or any other record-wise? Well, look, Metallica's easy. Everyone knows Metallica's just had some turds, right?
right?
Would you agree? I would imagine
Yeah.
you would agree. You strike me as the kind of guy that's like, fuck Metallica post,
No,
and Justice.
not at all. Because
You
I
like
love
the Black
Load.
Album?
I thought
Load's
I
cool.
thought Load was great.
I agree.
Reload,
Yeah,
I thought
think sonically.
sucked.
I agree.
Reload sucks.
I so agree with you. I think Load, when it came out, I was a little disappointing because we were all so coming off the Black Album, and they cut their hair
Right.
and they did all this different shit. And they were like that. I remember the video coming out for Until It Sleeps, and I was so disappointed. And they're wearing makeup, and I was like, the guitar solo. I was like, this sucks. But I love that song. It's an incredible song. It's an incredible album. I think you could trim it a hair, but it's still a really good album. There's a few songs I'm not super crazy about, but it's good. And
Same.
sonically, it's amazing. I agree. Reload's kind of definitely feels like leftovers. Just doesn't hold up to Load.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. Saint Anger to me, I tried and I couldn't even listen to it. I couldn't even get through.
When
a
it
few
came
songs.
out,
It
I was like,
atrocious.
"Oh, this is cool. It's heavy," and then you listen to it, and you're like, "Golly, man!" And it pisses you off because you're like, "Y'all have an infinite amount of money to
I
spend on a
know.
record. Why
Yeah,
would you
and
do
you do
that?"
this.
You know?
Yeah. Really absurd.
Man, BLS Records, my least favorite. Catacombs of the Black Vatican, and it's still a cool record. It just didn't, as a full album, didn't do it. But I mean, like, I think the Nomad's a fucking incredible song. There's a lot of good songs on it.
I feel like I might go with, what was it, Shot to Hell? I felt like that record felt kind of...
I didn't even think about that one, yeah. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Right? It just felt kind of thrown... It felt really generic, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and that was coming off of Mafia, and I was like, these just feel like...
Yeah, Mafia was badass.
Songs. Mafia was great. What's the... Fire It Up is like one of the greatest starts to a record. And the way they come out live with those fucking balls, and when they open up with Fire It Up, that's like the best goddamn...
They are a sneakily heavy band. Because a lot of times when you're listening to their record, you're like, oh, yeah, this is cool. But, man, when you watch it live or, like, you cover it or something and you're, like, hearing it chugged out and it's just fucking, beating you over the head.
Man, it's just that fucking groove. And it's, like, it's impossible to not fucking get down. It's, yeah. All right, we'll get off Zach's nuts. Let's see. Let's go to Philip on. Okay, so Tyler gave. Well, I made him give. No, you said 4, and then I was like, well, if you had to say 4 favorite bands, or what are some of your favorite bands? I guess biggest influences.
Typo.
Yeah.
Crowbar. Fear Factory. And Stone Temple Pilots.
Well, Tyler's daughter does not agree with those choices, but okay.
She wasn't a fan of that.
She likes STP. She got quiet when you said STP. Okay, let's go with STP for a minute. Oh, man, she's like, 2 hours is up. Come change the diaper.
Right.
Okay, so we'll wrap up here pretty soon, but, like, STP, like, I don't know a lot past their first 2 albums. Like, I think a lot of people probably, and those are both phenomenal albums. Do you have a preference as to one or the other on the first 2 records?
To be honest, I don't know a whole lot past their first 2 albums. The first 2, though, are some of the best albums ever. I would put Purple in the top 3 albums of all time for me.
Wow. What else would go in that category?
I love that album.
October Rust from Typo Negative, and Broken Glass from Crowbar.
Okay. Shamefully, I don't know Crowbar's catalog really, so I'll take your word for it on that. I should go listen to that record.
I would probably have an auxiliary alternate would be Obsolete from Fear Factory.
Okay. Yeah, you sort of stated those earlier when you were talking concept albums. And what was the other one you said? Closer from 9 Inch Nails earlier. It was a cool.
Yeah, I'm a huge Trent Reznor fan. As an artist, him and Peter Steele were really high on my list.
Yeah.
Not as a drummer, but just what they did for music in general.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Both those guys, 1,000%. October Rust, interesting. We had someone on the show who's actually a female in a Typo Negative tribute band.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's the singer. It's pretty awesome. I'll have to shoot you a link. They're called None More Negative.
Interesting. The worst Typo Negative cover band,
and they do it justice because all their shit is like they on brand with the Typo thing, right? And the video looks good. I think they did Creepy Green Light, and it stylistically is but they keep it on the original Typo brand with like what'd you say it was, Vic? The worst.
I think they had it. I think they have it as like the worst Typo Negative cover band or something like that.
It's pretty cool.
Their covers are really great. I listened to them after that podcast. They were, was it Zero?
Yeah,
right?
Zero. And she actually goes by Zero Silver from Josh Silver. But so she, I'm trying to think what album she cited because it took me a little bit. Oh no, I think she said it was Origin of the Feces, which I thought was really interesting.
Badass album.
But I thought so. I love Slow Deep and Hard, so Origin of the Feces came before Slow Deep and Hard. Is that correct?
No, Origin of the Feces came after, and it was actually Roadrunner was trying to get them to record a live album, and Peter's kind of fuck you to them was to record it live in the basement and then put an audience sound to it.
Sure. I mean, of course. I remember the one thing I remember from that album, because that's the one Typo album I don't have, is Hey Pete, right? And the cover of Hey Joe, but with the Pete where you're going with that axe in your hand. And then for some reason, I was thinking it was like covers, but some of the stuff is like stuff from Slow Deep and Hard. So it's basically just live stuff with that cover. Is that kind of what it is? More like an EP?
Yeah, it's got a Paranoid cover also.
Okay. But it's not a full length, is it?
Man, it's probably got 8 or 10 songs on there, with the covers.
Okay. And then obviously Bloody Kisses came after that. With Sal still, and then he went and played with Life of Agony, and then they got Johnny. What can I think? Johnny Kelly, and but what I didn't realize, and I remember a drummer told me this, so I was like, no, and then I was like, oh wow, it's actually true. What's so interesting about Type O is they didn't, to my knowledge, there's no live. I know there's no live drums on. I don't think October Rust. There's definitely not on Life Is Killing Me, and I don't know if they ever recorded live drums. Josh Silver and Peter just did all that, and Josh produced and engineered everything. Is that correct?
They did on their very last album.
They did, which is Dead Again, right?
Yes.
Right, okay. And then before Dead Again was Life Is Killing Me, right?
Yeah.
Before that was World Coming Down, okay.
World Coming Down, yep.
Man, that's such a hard... I'm assuming... I mean, obviously you said top 3 and you said October Rust, and if I had to pick a favorite Type O Negative album or any of these bands we've been talking about, that would be really tough. Like, I don't even know if I can do it with Type O. With Master of Puppets, oof, if I absolutely 1,000% had to, I would probably. Did I just say Master of Puppets with Metallica? I meant Master. I probably. Yeah. But shit, Black.
You meant to say Saint Anger.
I meant to say Saint Anger. Yeah. no, Lulu. I meant to say Lulu.
Oh shit!
Dude, just somehow
I never
even worse.
listened to it.
God.
Oh god.
It's unlistenable. I don't understand what that was all about.
What?
They did an album with Lou Reed, and it's exactly what you think it would be. It's Metallica. It's that's the correct reaction. It's like Metallica. Look, I haven't listened to the whole thing. I can only assume from what I did listen to this is basically just the album. It's like some load type groovy riffs, and then a guy comes over and he's like walking down the city streets, blah blah, and you're like, what in the fuck is going on? It's like it sounds like they were like literally just. Probably their idea, because they always have these horrible ideas. The greatest band in the world has the worst ideas ever. Like, okay, we're going to play a song in one room and then put Lou Reed in an ISO booth where you can't hear us, and he's going to recite poetry, and then we're just going to put the 2 tracks together and call it an album. I think that's what happened. It was horrible.
Some Henry Rollins shit right there.
Weird.
Man.
Yeah, but Henry Rollins actually sounds good. I don't know. Like, yeah. So, Vic, what's your take on the best Metallica record? Can you pick one? Have we had this discussion?
Ooh, I don't think we have. Man, for me, I kind of go back and forth because Ride the Lightning was the first Metallica album I heard. And so I keep going back and forth between that and Master of Puppets.
Mm-hmm. They're both quite amazing.
So it's...
You know what I heard about Ride the Lightning? Have you tried to play along to that, Tyler? It's out of tune, right?
Yeah.
It's lightly out of tune. And what I heard with that, so's Peace Sells, by the way. That album's even...
So is...
Both those records are fucking terribly out of tune.
Cowboys from Hell and Vulgar Display of Power, I think, are both...
I think I heard that, but I don't think they're as bad. Because I feel like I could play to those. But with like those with... Ride the Lightning and Peace Sells, those are like not quite on the Rolling Stones level, but almost.
Right.
Like, try to play to any Rolling Stones song ever, it's impossible. Like all their old shit is so horribly out. And I think that's a tape thing, I'm guessing. And I think like sometimes tape would get old and stretched and whatever, and that would affect.
Right.
But also, guys with tape used to speed up and slow down tape, and so I don't know if this is true or not, but what I heard was like with Ride the Lightning, they actually played those songs a little slower and then sped up the tape. I don't know if that's true or not, but it's
I was told that about
logical.
Cowboys from Hell too.
It makes sense. That shit's not fucking fast and it's hard to play.
The guy that I work with, or not work with, that got us hooked up with Zeus and stuff. He is like he could write a book on Dimebag Darrell, man, and so I pick his brain all the time. And he was telling me that's why the tuning is just like it's not quite E, it's like just barely off. And I was like, well, why is that? He's like, well, it's because they played it a little slower and then they sped it up just a hair to make it a little tighter. So he said there's like, I guess, piano in Cemetery Gates. And he's like, you think they retuned an entire piano just to be a little off? He's like, no, it's because it's sped up just to just a hair, so it'll sound a little tighter.
Wow.
I have to go back and listen to Cemetery Gates because I never noticed that.
Me neither.
Yeah.
So who knows?
I wonder. It's kind of interesting. I wonder. Yeah, I think that. I believe that stuff. It makes sense because those songs are fucking fast, man.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's like, and Metallica was really young. You know, especially with Metallica, right? They were really young, still kind of cutting their teeth. You know, and like, I mean, they were already really fantastic, but like, and James has always been really tight and everything. But Lars, you know, it wasn't like he came out the gates as some great drummer, right? He was more of a songwriter, arranger. Developed the chops, and he gets a lot of shit from a lot of people, but he deserves credit as a songwriter and arranger, clearly, and someone who just writes tasteful parts. I don't know what your thought is on him, Philip, because a lot of drummers will just shit all over Lars and be like, "Oh yeah, he sucks," you know, and all this. But it's like, yeah, but you know, he did contribute to writing really, really great songs.
He wrote the songs that, you know, I grew up loving, and I think that he's a great composer. He's well known to be way off on stage.
I don't want to say they're terrible. They're great, but they are one of the loosest bands you'll ever see live.
But I mean, I don't know. I don't know about the albums after and Ride the Lightning, but I know I try to play along with Dyer's Eve and Blackened, and man, they're fast. I mean, they're not the fastest I can play, but it's hard to keep it tight for that period of time, you know. So, man, he's a great drummer.
Yeah.
Big influence.
That was
He's got
actually
a 24-karat gold-plated Shark Tank too.
when I went and auditioned Phil to be in our band, that was like what we did. I walked in there and he's like, "Well, all right, I learned a couple of y'all songs," and we jammed through some of our stuff, and then I think we spent the next like 3 hours just playing every Metallica song we could think of and drinking a bunch of beer together. It was fun, man.
Awesome?
It felt like I was like 16, 17 years old, and that's how we hit it off, because we were like, "Hey, man, you know, hey, do you know this one? Yeah, I know that one. Yeah, because that's shit. I learned like everything they had when I was a kid. So, you know, there's a lot of rust up here, but man, you can, once you start playing on it, you're like, oh shit, yeah, you know, we were playing Am I Evil and all kinds of stupid stuff, man.
Fuck yeah.
I think we played on
so cool, like it's
The Thing That Should Not Be for like an hour, just cause.
Oh wow. Yeah, one of the few drop D Metallica tunes back in the day. I remember I had the Master of Puppets book, and I, for some reason, never noticed or didn't understand or something. And I remember always playing through and learning all the Master of Puppets riffs, and every time I'd play that song, I was just like, it doesn't sound right. Oh, it's a drop D.
Right.
Different tuning. But, man, like it's like you said earlier, right? James Hetfield, Dimebag, these are certain guys, and I almost feel like there is kind of a progression. Like, you start with the Metallica riffs, and what's great about Metallica is you can kind of handle some of those Kurt Hammett solos, and you can handle those iconic fade to black intro and one solo and nothing. You can do that stuff. It's attainable. The lick from For Whom the Bell Tolls, and so I think that's why one thing that makes them so great and famous is they have the crazy, insane Dyer's Eve, Disposable Heroes stuff. They have all this stuff that you can kind of play after you start playing for a little bit if you're really motivated and want to. And that shit's been going for 30 years, man. I teach kids
and they're
now
still,
the same shit I did.
It's still
90s,
iconic sounding stuff too. I mean,
iconic.
The riffs, even if they're not like the hardest riff on the planet, that little chug riff, like you were talking about after the was it For Whom the Bell Tolls? Dun 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 dun. That's 4 notes, but it's like, oh fuck, that's cool. And then once you learn it, you're like,
it's fun to play.
Like, this is the shit.
Yeah, dude, it's just fun to play, man. And like I feel like you don't have to play like you know because I remember like also I mean I love Megadeth, but it's like I could barely play anything on Rust in Peace, you know.
Right.
But I could actually play Metallica songs to a certain degree. You know what I mean?
Yeah, when you're starting out, man, and you're into this stuff, you have to start on them. I mean, you said it. Some of their stuff it's attainable to do. So you're not like super discouraged because you're like, fuck yeah, I know the riff to Enter Sandman, and it's pretty much the whole song. You know, I mean, if you get the main riff to that, then you're kind of set. You know, so
I did that, and then oddly enough, it's like, and I had the No More Tears. I mean, this is the thing. I passed all these guitar books that I had some Ozzy stuff. The Ozzy Tribute album is one of my favorite albums. I learned like fucking every riff in that thing. But Seasons in the Abyss was another one, man. I just learned like every riff on that album, dude. And that was my big. To this day, I don't know any other Slayer songs, but I know that album. I know that album backwards and forwards, man. I love that album.
Sacrilege here, but I'm not. Slayer never did it for me.
Well, I mean, it's funny because back then too, I was just like, it's so satanic, but it's also so cool. It's like they're just fucking goofing around, man. Yeah,
I like
Slayer.
them.
I mean,
I
that's
just
the thing
they
about
never
Slayer.
like tickled my fancy enough to really get in because I know people that are like fucking Slayer, nothing else, you know. But I don't.
That's,
I mean,
we've had that discussion. Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're
You
cool.
wanna
They
fight?
got cool guitar riffs. Their solos are trash, but
Yeah. Oh, dude, you better not say that. I mean, you guys could handle your own. Like a weakling like me, I can't say that to a Slayer. That's why I have a podcast. I can say it on the podcast. Make fun of Slayer fans. Because Slayer fans, dude, they're just like, they're so ready to fight you if you disagree with anything. Kerry King is like not the greatest guitar player of all time. They're going to knock your teeth out. You know, it's like, well, even Kerry King would be like, yeah, my solos are shit.
yeah, man, they're terrible.
But it's kind of part of the charm of Slayer. Like when you go listen to Megadeth, you know that the solos are going to be magic and melodic and tasteful and wonderful. When you listen to Metallica, you know it's going to be pretty good and there's going to be a lot of wah pedal in it. And when you listen to Slayer, you know it's just shit. But it's part.
Yeah.
Like,
Sounds like two cats fucking.
But
right?
they're-
Yeah, but if Slayer like suddenly came out with something melodic, first of all their fans would hate them.
yeah.
Secondly, it just wouldn't make sense. It's like if AC/DC did a prog rock song, it would be like horrible. You'd be like, no, what's happening? Like at some bands, you're in that box and you got to live in that box forever. You know, you just
Yeah.
have to stay there.
Hey, their riffs are iconic, man. I don't knock their riffs, but yeah,
The riffs are fun as hell. Yeah, and I think it's that kind of stuff is like, especially for a rock metal guitar player, that's the shit. Still to this day, that's the stuff you learn. You know, that's
Right.
how you kind of cut your teeth and learn your chops. But cool. Well, I know that we're going to have to wrap up here pretty soon because editing these podcasts really sucks, and also your daughter.
Yeah, I'm about to
and
be in
wife
this
probably
shit house.
hate you right now.
Yeah.
You're like, can I just get COVID again instead of getting in trouble? Hey, I want to mention that real quick because it's crazy, and I don't want to make light of COVID because it's a horrible thing, and I know people that have passed away and all this kind of stuff. I'm so glad people are getting vaccinated and we're coming through this. But thank you, by the way, as being a first responder, you know, and being someone that did have to go out and work through this kind of, you know, the whole thing and didn't have a choice. So that's awesome, man. And but you got COVID somewhat early on, and one thing I noticed, I think you guys were talking about it on Bobby Sharon's podcast, was that you lost your sense of smell, and has that still not come back?
Not fully. So
Wow.
maybe like 3 weeks ago, I can smell something. It doesn't smell like what it's supposed to. It smells like old fucking onions, and it's just certain things. But yeah, I've almost a whole year now, and I haven't. I got it back in
God, that's
June last
really
year,
bizarre.
and yeah, my smell
Wow.
hasn't come back.
Well, again, I don't want to make light of any of this, but the time to not have smell is probably right now while you have a baby daughter, right? Like,
Hey man,
so
if it
kinda-
I almost don't want it back. If there's a sense to lose, it's like you can't
Yeah.
smell food, but man, not smelling
Right.
like really foul smells, not bad.
But how do you
I
know
never
when
lost my
Scott
taste
shits
or
his
nothing.
pants?
Well, he throws his hands
Now
down
you don't
the
know
back
when- you
of
don't-
him, and then we check.
That's right. He's got the visual cues. Well, cool, man. Are you guys, just out of curiosity, you're getting vaccinated? You probably have to, right? Have you gotten the vaccine? Have you and your wife gotten that?
I didn't have to, but I got it. I got it in the beginning of March. We
What did
had
you
what's that?
Which one did you get?
The Pfizer one.
Okay.
We had since I'm a first responder, we had the option to get it like right when it came out. But I wanted to wait like a little bit and kind of see how everything went. And since I had already had it, you know, I'm around it nonstop. So,
Right, yeah.
you know, I've been doing okay. So yeah, I went and got it, and everything's good now, man.
Cool deal, man. What about you, Philip? Are you doing that, or?
I haven't gotten it yet, but that's because I had COVID maybe like 6 weeks ago.
Really? Okay, shit.
Yeah,
What did
and,
how did that affect you?
It was absolutely terrible.
Wow.
Yeah, and So I was kind of waiting until I got a little further out from being ill, because I've heard that people who've gone and got vaccinated when they were after they were sick had kind of bad reactions.
Okay.
So I'll ride out my immunity for, I don't know, 3 months or so before I go and get that done.
If you don't mind my asking, like, what were some of the symptoms you experienced from having it?
So we had I guess I woke up middle of a week, Wednesday, and I had like a little sore throat, like I had allergies.
Mm-hmm.
Went away that day. Same thing on Thursday. And then Friday, finally, I woke up and the sore throat just kind of stuck with me throughout the day, and I kind of started feeling like I had a cold. I went and got tested that night, and it was positive, so I kind of quarantined myself. But Saturday was when I really started to have really bad symptoms. I had fever, body aches, weakness, and I lost my taste and sense of smell. And it wasn't until about Sunday morning when my fever finally broke and things started to kind of turn around, and probably a full week, so that Wednesday, before I was actually feeling 75 or 80%.
Damn. So basically, I mean, I'm not able to work, incapacitated, body aches, just fever, just laid up, just totally trashed.
Yeah, it was the sickest I've ever been. It was like having strep throat and the flu at the same time.
Jesus Christ, man. Well, I'm glad you guys are okay, man. I'm glad you came back through it, and I am so stoked that we're coming through this shit and able, as are all of us, able to get back out and play shows and do things and see each other again and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, dude, I hope to see you guys, or I did see you guys, who fucking knows, on May 14th at the Snakeskin Prison show. I'll be there. And and then, yeah, can't wait for Skunk Fest, man. I'm glad you guys are doing it. Thank you so much for joining us.
Dude, thanks for having us on, man. Always good to talk to you.
Yeah. Thanks, Vic.
Yeah,
nice
thanks,
to
guys.
meet you.
Hey, before we
Nice
go,
meeting you.
and I just noticed it said Travis Tracy. Am I insane? I thought your name was Tyler.
Tyler is my middle name, so Travis is probably what was on my email.
I was like, dude, I've been calling this guy by the wrong name all these years.
Nobody,
I was like, but Travis Tracy? What? Who the fuck's this guy?
Nobody calls me Travis, man.
All right, Tyler Tracy, as I
Tyler
thought.
Tracy.
Philip Pound. Good to talk to you guys, man.
Yes, sir.
Congrats on the success with the recent EP. Looking forward to the new music, and see you soon. Take care.
All right, brother. Thank y'all.
Later, guys.
Hang tight.
Thanks, guys.
Hang tight. Don't go.